and that is for certain. Welcome, everybody, to the Crossover Podcast call-in special. If you are a fan of Hotline League and you enjoyed getting your takes in, well, boy, is this going to be the show for you. Anybody and everybody can call in to the show and give your take on anything League of Legends Esports today. In order to call in, all you have to do, I just put the Discord in chat. Hop in the Discord, put your name and your take in the Crossover Podcast call-in channel. I'm going to go in the direct order that takes were submitted. And we're just going to keep going until every single community concern, every single community, moment of happiness, whatever you got, we're going to go all the way through. The thing that I wanted to start with today, actually, let me just make sure the scrolling ticker is good. I apologize. I am a one-man army today. One person only doing all of this. You'll be able to see the takes down below on the ticker. I will have every single one as we're talking about it down here. So you'll be able to catch up if you don't know what we're talking about. Check the ticker. Simple as that. And we'll get around to the take by the time that we are said and done talking about it. I do want to start off this podcast talking about what happened today here in America. And I just want to make it very clear that in no way, shape, or form should we ever condone political violence or violence in any capacity. Okay? I know politics are a very sensitive issue in America in a lot of ways. We are divided more than we have ever been. I don't like Charlie Kirk. I never have. I've never liked his political views. I don't stand by anything that he's ever said. But that does not mean that I would ever wish harm upon him or harm upon anybody else that I disagree with on a political level. Ever. And I would hope that we are all in agreement on that. And at least for my community, the standards I set in my Discord here in the comments of videos that I can control, we do not condone political violence in any capacity. I'm legitimately scared as an individual that comes on to shows like this and debates with the community, has conversations with others. If we get to the point where disagreeing with each other, regardless of how shit some takes might be, if that results in physical violence, we got bigger problems on our hands. And I say that as somebody who has received death threats for some of the things that I've said in videos, taking stances on certain things. I've gotten those messages. So this comes from a place of genuine concern that you might not be able to, that other people who don't, put their faces, their livelihoods out on the internet, you might not be able to relate to what I'm saying. And that's perfectly fine. But I just wanted to make that message very clear for everybody that's watching. If you're not from America, just know we got our fucking problems right now. All right. And will we figure them out? I have no clue. But it felt like that really, really needed to be said in this moment. So, with that out of the way, I'm not going to be taking any calls on politics tonight. Obviously, we'll discuss a little bit of politics with the first take here. It's going to be about Flyquest and Bwipo because Heely will be the first person in. If you want to join the show, again, the Discord will be linked in the chat. You can check it out. It's pinned in the in the description on the YouTube video. Join into the Discord. Put your take in the Crossover Podcast call-in show, and I'm going to go down the list and get to everybody. I am going to be live for the next 3 hours going over takes. If we run out of takes, I'm just going to go in the lounge and we're going to start debating for the hell of it. But I will make sure every person that puts a take in gets their individual time. So, without further ado, let me put Heely's. Let me drag him in here so he can get the first take. And I'm going to let him go. Heely, how you doing, brother?
I didn't actually know I was going to be doing this. Holy shit.
Hey, you called it. You wanted it. So I'm giving it all to you.
Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about anything that Bwipo did. Mainly how Flyquest handled it.
So what's your official take?
Flyquest's official stance, like the managers and the people actually making decision, is such a soft-handed punishment that nothing has really even happened to Bwipo.
Why do you say that?
He probably wasn't going to play the first series. This is a perfect time to let Gakos actually get playtime. And if you go down 0-1, you just put Bwipo in. The fine is going to be, at most, $10,000, I think, if they win.
16,000. If it's 80,000 if they win total, so divided by 5 would be 16,000.
We are assuming if it's spread like very evenly, and the team and the coaches get nothing.
Yeah,
that's what we're assuming.
Yep.
With that number. He wasn't gonna play. Probably, anyways. The money isn't a thing. And it's just such a blanket PR statement that it's worse than doing nothing, in my opinion. It's worse than saying, we are handling this, a decision will come. And I've seen Miss Harvey's other tweet about how this isn't the end of it. But, like, doing it the way you did it even now is very dangerous.
Look, I think you and I are pretty much on the same page with this. I don't think personally that the punishment was enough. And if it was my call, like I've had people asking, what I would have done about it. Say I'm like Mark Z, LCS commissioner, whatever it might be. I would have banned them for all of LTA playoffs at a minimum.
I would have gone as far as Worlds.
No, because I think there's enough time between now and Worlds to like really go through like the education process that he needs to go through. But my problem with this that I've seen so many people take or having the opinion on is like, oh, but that affects like competition on their part or on Flyquest part, and it's not fair to the team or the teammates that he's playing with. I'm sorry, but that view to me is very short-sighted. It is like, okay, we care about wins more than we care about setting the culture and setting a precedent for a community that is welcoming and inclusive to everybody. And my judgment for how good or bad this punishment was just watching social media. You can tell whenever a brand's reputation takes a massive hit and potentially rebounds. And I don't know about you, but the perception that I got was that the majority of people that you would hope would potentially like see the good side in Flyquest if they made a proper apology did not feel that way. And the people that I saw like actively supporting Flyquest that weren't directly staff it was people and opinions that like I'm sitting there like, okay, that's a specific type that like it got a little bit fringe, to say the least.
Yeah. I want to go a little bit deeper as well, because I joined their Discord mainly as a spectator. I didn't go in, I didn't post anything. The only thing I did is I went and I posted that community meme of like, hey guys, I'm new here. And it's he's with a pizza and he walks into the burning apartment.
To the fire,
That's
yep.
Around, I want to say 2 hours after the thing went live, Numi, who is their, I think, social media manager.
She's their community manager now, I think.
Community manager. Posted in the channel, in their League of Legends channel, no more talking about this topic, which I think is fair to do. Because at the end of the day, that Discord, their Twitters, and I'm calling out the fans now, stop attacking social media people for the decisions of staff.
Yep.
Put your take under it. I put my take under the post. I said, this is too soft-handed of a response. Flyquest needs to do better. But don't attack the social media person handling the Twitter, assuming it's going to get to the higher-ups.
No. What you do in that situation is, if this punishment does not feel good enough for you, you simply don't cheer for them or actively cheer against them. Like, you hate watch that, and you make it clear, and you drown out on social media, you drown out the good voices with saying, nah, Flyquest sucks, and that's it. And like that's how you handle it. You don't attack any individuals. You make sure the brand doesn't have value, or like you make sure that people know what you associate the brand value to be. Like, that's how you handle it. You don't attack any individuals ever, unless okay. There are certain situations where if somebody says something dumb, aka like 100 Thieves Malk saying to go support another org, then I'm going to say something. I don't want to sit here and say never, but that's just me.
But like, don't go into the Flyquest Discord intentionally starting drama. Don't go onto the Flyquest Twitter and like attack the Twitter person. Yeah,
like get your opinion out there, absolutely. But just remember there's a human behind it that's relaying a message for somebody else.
Bwipo's tweet in and of itself, whatever social media intern did write that, I'm sorry that you had to do that.
I thought Bwipo's apology was as good as it's going to have in the moment. Because it's not like you can't expect somebody to learn in the course of 3 hours. Like they might have regret, but like your actual learning comes over the course of weeks, if not months. And like there's nothing he can say in the moment that's going to show me that he's learned, and he shouldn't. It should be about the process that it's going to take for him to actually understand the weight that his words carried.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it doesn't sound like it's Bwipo is what I'm saying.
Oh, that it comes off
when I read this
inauthentic.
tweet, yeah, when I read this tweet, this isn't Bwipo saying he's sorry.
Gotcha.
This is him, and like this is what I've said. He should be PR trained, but this isn't him saying he's sorry for what he's done.
No.
It's like too well articulated in a certain way. I'm not saying like Bwipo's like bad at like speaking, but it's like you can tell if you read the tweet, it's not Bwipo typing that. And so to me, it doesn't matter.
Gotcha. The one other thing I would say on this is that I know there were a lot of people that were like, "Oh, Bwipo's not inherently sexist," and I agree. I don't think he's like, he's not saying this with vile. It's just, regardless of whether you are or aren't, it's your individual words in that moment. Which, when every single female like professional in the space, like Shocks and Miss Chim Chim, and they're all putting out videos explaining to you the harm that this does to them in the female community and so much more and beyond. Like, I don't need any more guys sitting here telling me like, you don't actually understand. Like, it's not like he might be right or this. I don't give a fuck about your opinion, whether like what your view on Bwipo is. Like, they are the people directly affected. I trust their voice in this moment more than I trust any of ours.
Yeah. I'm not like trying to step into their realm and say my problems are the same as theirs, but as a like out gay man who goes by he they, this shit is real. Like, people lose opportunities because they are a woman, because they are gay, because they are trans.
Yep.
It's not like it's some fake made up thing and we're all just coping. It's like, oh, we're just not good enough, so we have to cope and like make up these things about why we're not getting them.
Yeah.
I have been in like the lowest level amateur orgs managing a gold team where the person who like owned the server is like, yeah, but I don't know. What if my other players start liking this person? Or like, what if the gay guy starts flirting with the other players?
Jesus Christ.
It's insane. It happens. It's real. And you need to like, you need to accept it even if you can't see it.
Gotcha. Well, unfortunately, that is the 10 minutes. I need to get to the next person. Any closing remarks that you want to give? Any shout outs you want to give?
Shout out women. Go back 2-3 streams. We were playing what's it called? We were playing a flex game. We named like 400 women. It was pretty basic.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that stream. Yeah. Okay. Shout out to Emily, the boss bitch of this entire content production. The woman that helps us keep the lights on behind the scenes.
True. Shout out Emily. Yeah. Shout out the vacuum. Bring it back.
Oh, no. Okay, you're going. Bye-bye. All right, folks, as always, between takes, I will continue to remind you, if you want to hop in, if you want to get your take in, be sure to join the Discord. The link is in the chat and in the description of the YouTube video. I'm going to pull in our next guest here. It is Mr. New to TikTok himself, Jackson.
Hey, what's up?
How's the TikTok grind going?
It's going amazing, actually. I like popped off, and the way I keep people interested in NA Esports is by sprinkling in normal league content. That's the hack I do. Yep. So I make like top 5, because I'm a high elo league player. So I just make like silly top 5 videos, and like the people eat it up, and then I'm a slow percentage of them. I'm getting them to watch NA League. That's how I'm fooling them. That's
been my strategy with talking about the LCK. You talk about the LCK and you sprinkle in a little bit of NA, and all of a sudden, like, everybody's tuning in for T1. Oh yeah, Flyquest is playing. Like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I know. My first ever video to hit 100,000 views was a random video I made with Faker in the title.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I've been saying it for a long time. Faker's the cheat code. There was a dude that had a video go viral yesterday, comparing Faker to Michael Jordan, and like
Yeah.
how extreme both of them were. But I don't want to take any time away from your take. You got to take.
Okay.
What do you got?
So I think mid lane is the weakest role in the LTA, and I don't think it's as close as people think it is. So this take actually got put on, like the LTA stream. It was before one of the playoff series, and the way they talked about it, right, was they were like, oh, they basically immediately dismissed my actual take and started talking about the strongest role, because I basically said ADC is strongest, mid lane's weakest. They never addressed the weakest part. So I want to talk about weakest, because I think the top two roles are easy. We have amazing ADCs and have forever. Yan, Masu, Rahel, yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
And we have really good junglers. Contract inspired. Umpty left, but he was really good, like underrated.
Yep.
And then from there, I think top is clearly in the middle, because we have some really good top laners. Castle, Thanatos, Impact when he's in playoff storm, right? And then it's like you're kind of left over with mid and support. And I think the supports haven't been that bad this year. Like normally it's really obvious, because normally it's like Core JJ running the region and like that's it. But this year we have Vulcan, who's doing incredibly well. Busio has stepped up as like MVP maybe. Core JJ, I still think he wasn't at his previous level, but he was still a good support. I thought Seos stepped it up. And when I look at the mid laners, I think Quad and Quid are elite. But even still, like, Quad randomly, like, versus TL, like, died 30 times. Like, that was a terrible series Quad had versus TL.
Yep.
So, like, Quad is very, I guess dynamic is the word. And every other mid laner looks like they have an incredibly exploitable weakness. Like, I'm an APA fan, but, like, APA clearly has very, very obvious weaknesses, right? I don't know if he's, like, 7th in the league or, like, 4th, right? Saint has no mental. He's even admitted it himself, he struggled with mental issues. And I think you just go down that list, I think mid lane is weaker than support. So that's kind of the take here. Do you think support's weaker or mid lane's weaker?
My question would be, what context are we discussing this from? Are we talking about just power ranked within the LTA? Or are we talking about this in context of, you know, all mid lane around the world? Because I would argue, if we're talking around the world, that our support difference between, I'm going to exclude Busio, because Busio I think is like head and shoulders so far above every other support in the league. The gap between our supports and the international supports is insane. Versus mid lane, I think there's enough raw mechanical skill that, yes, even though Quad is slumping, I think the gap between Quad, Quid, and I'll throw Loki because I'm not gonna put Palafox in that top 3 discussion at the moment.
Yeah.
Like the difference between the 3 of them and like not even Fake or Chovy, but like everybody else, like I think isn't as far as the distance in support. But if you're talking domestic, I might give you the mid argument.
See, I would argue both, right? Because like I'm gonna use Quad recently when he went to internationals. And for obviously we can only really use Flyquest and TL's recent internationals since they're the teams we sent. But Quad was the worst member of Flyquest at Worlds.
Agreed.
And Split 1 was APA was the weakest member of TL that Worlds. Not Umpty, but APA was getting like randomly solo killed mid. There was like a Hui into Silas game. He just got like solo killed level 4. And I think our supports have been really stepping it up. Like Huhi, for example, has been playing fantastically. And I would 100% take Huhi over I'm trying to think like DSG's mid laner Darkwings.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
They swapped in and out. But like if you go team by team, I think the supports on our teams are better than our mid laners. Right? Like Core JJ is better than APA. I think Huhi's a better player than Darkwings. And you keep on doing that. I don't know, man. I just think mid lane's just weaker.
I will say I think Core JJ had a pretty significant regression this season that I would put him on par with APA, personally. The cases
That's
where
fair.
I would agree with you on Flyquest 100% weaker. Quad is weaker than Busio. 100 Thieves, heavily disagree. Obviously, Quid is Quid. Like, even on his worst day, Quid is still better than Ayla.
100%.
Shopify Rebellion, I put Seos over Palafox, so absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Loki, I would put Loki over Vulcan. Even though Vulcan's playing well, I think Loki played, like, even in their loss to 100 Thieves, I don't think that was Loki's fault. Like Quid played
that's
well,
fair.
but Quid wasn't like straight up like smashing. Loki in the wins
agree.
was popping off, and even in the losses, I think like it's on other role. Like just 100
Yeah,
Thieves
I
as a
agree.
team played better.
I agree.
I'm right in the middle where I can't disagree with your take, but my gut is telling me support is worse.
Well, I think that's because like it has been true for the longest time that NA doesn't have supports. It's always our weakness in internationals.
Yeah.
And obviously we have no sample size, so I think Worlds is going to really prove or disprove my take. But like my gut feeling is that once we go to Worlds, like, and obviously Flyquest is kind of an exception because Busio is maybe the best Western support right now, so it's maybe not fair.
Yep.
But like, let's say we send 100 Thieves because they're obviously, I think they look better than any other team currently, right?
Yep.
I bet it's not going to be, I mean, maybe like Quid gets really nervous or whatever, but let's say Quid and Ayla keep their form. I would imagine it's going to be support and macro that like is how 100 Thieves would lose to an Asian team, right? So because of all these things, it's really hard for me to not say support's weaker. Or sorry, that mid lane is weaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can't dispute it, really. Even if I'm not fully on board, I can't dispute it. Because you bring up a very valid argument.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to add to your take, man? You got like a minute left, so you got a shout out and whatever else you want.
Shout out to my TikTok, at JacksonRC. Go check it out. I make funny content. And shout out to you for getting me onto TikTok. Like, genuinely life-changing. I've had so much fun doing it, and I think we need more content creators.
I agree.
Like, change starts with you, and I think if you want NA to get like revived as a region, we should have more people talking about it.
What's your next goal with TikTok right now?
I have no idea. I don't know where to go from here. I didn't think I'd hit 2,000 subs like ever, so or followers. But I think I'm gonna try to hit like 5K eventually, and we'll see from there. I think I'm gonna start streaming a little bit.
Have you uploaded them to YouTube?
I've uploaded a little bit, but those videos, like editing is hard. Like I think editing on TikTok is a lot easier.
Agreed. That's why you upload to TikTok and then use the downloaded VOD or the downloaded video and just put that straight to YouTube.
So I upload YouTube Shorts, but I've only had like 2 long form YouTube videos, but those are hard to make.
Yeah.
I think I'll start doing YouTube, but it's like it's tough without an editor, right? I'm a college student, so I gotta balance my accounting and everything else.
I will say, you're a college student. You get Adobe Suites for free. Learn how to use Premiere Pro. It's really simple.
I'll look up a tutorial.
Dude, even just watch. Like I recently started streaming how I edit my videos. It's not hard. It's really not. Like it sounds daunting, but like use Adobe while you have it for free. And just learn as much of it as you can. If you don't want to use it after you're done with school, that's fine. But just like learn it now while you have the time and the financial access to it.
Cool. Well, that's my take. I'm happy you're on board.
Hey, always a pleasure to have you on, man. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, thank you. Absolutely. Have a good one, man.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you want to come and you want to put your take on this call, if you want to call in any way, shape, or form, be sure to check out the Discord, check in the Crossover Podcast call-in channel. Up next on the show, we have a familiar face for some of you that watch YouTube League of Legends content. I don't even know what time it is right now for him. I think 6 hours past this, so I think it's like 2:24. Marn, how you doing, man?
Hello.
Is it actually 2:24? Did I get that time right?
1:24, hour off.
Oh, okay. That's not too... I mean, it's still not great, but it's not as bad. So what's up, man? What's your take?
Well, I expect to get the first hang up of the episode, but I would like Riot to break the LCS wheel, abandon how they've structured their splits properly, and go with weekly tournaments that leads into a roadshow at the end between top 3.
As much as I love this, how are you going to make that work budget-wise?
Like I said, this is a fantasy dream scenario. But the way I would do this is by you go online
Okay.
and you cut that cost to the studio. And the way I would do it is that you would have a single elimination bracket, each best of threes. If you really want to have the grand finals be a best of 5, you can. You'd have it over 3 days. So the first day, your quarterfinals, second day, semis, third day, fourth, grand finals. And how I would do it so that just these weekly tournaments aren't feeling like completely repetitive is like obviously you'd have each series rotating. So each team will play each other once in the quarterfinals, and then you would have all the matchups. And obviously, you're going to have the top teams play the top teams quite a bit, as like in these grand finals.
Yeah.
But how I would do it for I would do a I would do a road show at the end between the top 3, and those are done on points you collect through your wins throughout the tournament. So if you win a series and you go into the semifinals, you get a point. And the top 3 at the end, the first place team goes to the final, and then 2 and 3 are battling out in what would be the lower bracket finals now. And then you win that, and then you play the grand finals on Sunday.
Look, I love the concept of what you're going for. I just don't think a tournament structure when the rest of the world is in a league structure is ultimately going to work. And that comes from somebody who, if I could adopt any system in League of Legends, every region would go to having the old 2K and 5K setup that Call of Duty had for the longest period of time, which for those of you that need context on this, you would play your league matches, your MLG league matches, quote unquote, during the week from I think Tuesday to Thursday. Friday wouldn't have anything, and then Saturday and Sunday would have individual tournaments for points. Your league matches got you points that you would win, and then your tournament finishes would get you points as well. So you were getting caught all the time. But the reason why these points were important was because they would seed you or qualify you into the pool stage of the various different tournaments that you would have, like the actual LAN events, which would happen 6 or 7 times a year. So you go about a month and a half and have a tournament. I don't think this system works when you're trying to feed into just 3 international tournaments. As you said, it would get really repetitive, and I think people would get bored of it kind of quick. Even though I do like tournament play better than what we currently have for the regular season, for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Because one of my things that you're tackling is, even if you say the grand finals is a best of 5, you're playing more best of 3s in one split than you would the entire tournament, entire year, for last year. Think of a Disguised who didn't play many, were knocked out pretty frequently in both splits. They would play more best of 3s, and then if they were to progress to a semi-final, it's an extra best of 3. You also get best of 5s continuously throughout the year, and obviously this is just my dream. I know, given the space working,
what's possible
years,
versus not.
But this would be my dream of. I've always wanted Riot to kind of take the LCS for what it is and take it away from one competing it with Valorant in the space that it is now, and also having it have its own life. And I think obviously the only thing you would maybe get bored of, and let's just say hypothetically C9 and Flyquest are the top 2 teams next year in these tournaments, and you're getting them best of 5s or best of 3s every single week. Yes, it may get repetitive, but I think for me, that's just adding one extra schedule day. And let's say you're Flyquest, who get to the finals every single week and win. You could potentially play 21 best of 3s in a single split.
Good. I like the idea of it. I just think when it comes to formats and you're directly comparing what we will have to the LCK, because we can't look at ourselves in a vacuum, unfortunately. Even though we're not trying to attract Korean fans, people will look at the product nearby and be like, well, why don't we have that? It's if you're driving down the street and you have a Prius, it's okay, you got a good car, but then you pull up next to a Lambo and it's well, I can't act like I didn't just see that. Like, I know what's out there now. Would I prefer to be in that one? Absolutely. Like, I don't know. The format system is going to be complicated, and I don't have a good answer for it other than trying as best as we can, which I know this takes coming up next, to really get more games played. I don't need the tournament format necessarily, so long as I can get more games played. Period.
Yeah, I just worry that without going online, we won't see that fulfilled, perhaps.
Would you be fine with
Maybe
hybrid?
they can surprise. Yeah, I'd be surprised if next year we're getting more games. I think it will roughly stay the same because of obviously the time constraints we have. Of split one has to be around 5 weeks, like in construction with you having a cross conference playoffs as well.
If I have to see 5 weeks of us playing in a fucking cage, I'm gonna lose it. Because Valorant will be back at that time. Here's my rule for next year that I would like to set. If we play a single day in that side stage, whoever decided that should lose their job. I'm sorry. And I know I tossed that out like candy at this point, but apparently the cost of it is close to what it is for the main stage. Why? Just play online. Save the money. If that's how much it costs for that day, imagine we could have 2 days of online play and extend our time out.
And that's what I was going to say. Like, yeah, maybe even if we don't go like the tournament route, you're still like one extra day is a significant amount of games if you do it correctly.
Yeah. Agreed. Unfortunately, that is just about time. I got to get to everybody else's takes. Any shout outs you want to give, man? I appreciate you calling in late at night for yours.
No, you're just thank you for everyone for turning up. Like, I really value these community-driven things. Obviously, Hotline League was a big blow to everyone it departing. So, like, genuinely thank you and like, everyone for turning up to these things.
I saw Zamelkai join the server earlier. I'm praying to God that he calls in because I would love to just have a whisper battle with the man. Give a classic one for all the Hotline League old school fans out there. Where can people find you out on socials?
My main one's Marn Esports, but if I'm gonna do a shameless plug, LTA Report is where you'll find me doing like most of my work, doing like the YouTube shorts, daily YouTube videos, and our weekly podcast on Wednesdays just before your lovely podcast.
Yeah. You guys had a pretty nice video out today with a familiar face to this channel on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody should go check it out.
Yeah, I think so too.
Thank you for calling in, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Peace.
See ya. To Martin's point, if you have not checked out the LTA report, it is a fantastic channel. I actually just was on there. Like I said, if you go check out their video from today, I believe it is a clip from whenever we talked after the 100 Thieves Shopify Rebellion series this past Saturday. They're a great channel. Love Marn, love Cloud. Cloud will be on the show here in a bit, but we have 2 more takes to get to before we get to his. Again, if you want to call into the show, come drop your take in the Crossover Podcast call-in topics here on Discord and hop in the VC because I'm just going straight down the list and I will get to you before the night is over. I promise. Next up, wait, I'm not seeing Primus in the voice chat, so I will give him one chance after the next caller, so I'll have to jump one ahead and go one back. Primus, if you're listening, be sure to hop back in the Discord if you want me to be able to pull you in. But for now, we're going to jump down to Lemur. How you doing, man?
Holy, oh my god, you struck me out of a conversation. You scared me.
Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. The person that was before you is not in VC anymore. So I was like, I guess I just got to jump ahead.
Gotcha. Alright, hang on. I gotta go check my top. Oh, WASD is the best thing to come to League of Legends.
Oh boy, why is that?
I think that one League of Legends esports is dying. Right? It's sort of on the plummet, right?
Okay.
LS made a great point that the players are becoming more marketable than the sport itself, and are controlling the market through that. And I do think that's a bad environment. I think he made that point when he was talking to Gorilla something.
Gorilla Jones.
Yeah, when he wanted to be a pro player, and I think that's a great point. So I also think that that is because of a player base sort of decline and a disconnect with the rest of the gaming world. I would say WASD is a norm across like most games, right?
Yep.
And I would say that this destination-based pathing is more of a relic of back when RTSs were the big thing. And I love RTSs. All right, I'm not saying anything about RTSs. I love Total War. I love Empire at War, if you even know what that is.
Okay, question. Is Halo Wars a real-time strategy game?
Ooh, I don't know. That's
If so,
I
that
don't
is the
know.
only RTS I've ever played. So, like, I'm not familiar with that genre beyond that game.
Yeah.
Like, assuming that is.
I got into gaming through Total War, so it was kind of like my cousin was like, "Oh, check out this game. You can make." I was Total War Shogun 2, and I was making samurai fight each other. But I digress. I love real-time strategy games, but it's such a relic, and it's such a disconnect from the rest of the community. You know, like if you were an Overwatch player or a COD player or a Siege player like me coming into League, because that's what I played. You know, like
Yep.
I used to play total strategy games, and then I went off and I acted like a normal boy, and then one day I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go play on my console, and then got addicted to gaming. But I played Siege, and I came in here, and I cannot tell you how many times I just had no idea what was
Bro,
going on in League of Legends
I
at all. I didn't know how to
know.
move my character.
I know, dude. I was playing Smite on console as like my first MOBA before I came over here, and I
Yeah.
remember literally driving to go pick up a wireless mouse because I would use my trackpad for everything in college for some stupid reason, and I got a wireless mouse, and I'm trying to like figure out how the fuck this game moves. Like, I understand what I'm supposed to do because of Smite. My hands and my brain are so far apart from each other right now. It took me a year to finally feel like I wasn't playing with my feet.
And it's like, I was trying to walk around. I got into the tutorial, and I didn't know how to progress. I didn't know that I needed to click around to move. I was like, oh, how do I move? And the only reason I learned how to move is because my cousin was there to be like, oh, yeah, you right click. And I was like, huh? That's not how you move.
Yep.
And then I spent like so much time trying to learn that I had no idea what was going on in the game. I was playing Sona with W max. And when I say W max, I mean literally 1 point into W because that's all it would allow me to do without putting points into my other abilities, and I didn't do that.
That is
I didn't
great.
know what items were. I didn't know how to move. I was still trying to learn how to like attack. I didn't know about auto attacking. I just knew that when I stood near somebody, the game made me attack them.
Yep. Bro, you want to know the worst part for me? Coming from Smite to League, you did not have to last hit minions all that much in Smite. Like, you still got passive gold for not last hitting them. And I didn't realize that. And I was even at a diamond level on console Smite. And then I come to League and trying to like work how your hands are working, as well as trying to get the timing of last hitting minions, is impossible.
Yeah, and then contesting your own last hit.
Oh, dude. Oh my god, yeah.
It's so much to learn. And then you get into the stage where you're starting to learn that, and then you're like, oh, you gotta move in between autos, by the way. You have to click a lot more than you really think.
And you have to control your camera.
Mm-hmm. And then you're like, so like when I see that type of stuff, I'm like, when I see WASD coming to League, I'm like, thank God, finally. One, there's so many things in the game that function on a WASD system better. Garen E, Darius Q. What was the other one that Angus was talking about? Targi.
Yeah.
These are very, you have to line them up to hit. And that is much easier to do on a WASD system. And then on top of that, like, you are literally saying, hey, this is how kiting works. Now learn the fundamentals of the game. because you don't have to worry about moving anymore. You don't have to worry about, not knowing how to click back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and making sure that you don't accidentally click the ground and walk towards your opponent and die. You literally hand it to them, and then they can learn about CSing. They can learn about trading and positioning and everything like that. And I think it's so much better for the game for a new player to come in, and I think that new players is what we need. And I think that not only having new players reviving the game, but it will revive an esports scene as they get more interested in the game and interested in watching the game.
I 100% agree with this. For me as well, like the WASD movement system is also a gateway to finally get console involved. And I think if you want to have a relevant esport in North America, you need to have console. Like, we are a console nation. And like, I get why many people might not understand that, especially like if you've grown up with having a PC or you've just been a PC gamer for so long, you might not realize like what like sleepovers growing up were like. Like for us, like my generation, I'm assuming it's different now with like Fortnite and everything else, but like, dude, we go over to somebody's house. If the kid that had the Xbox 360 and Halo 2 was the shit, and you just go on there and make profiles and play split screen all fucking night, trying to get the Hayabusa skulls. Like it was awesome. It was such a good time. And if you can get League of Legends onto consoles, you unlock a whole other audience to this game.
100%. And for me, it was Battlefront 2005 edition. I was going over to my cousin's house and playing that. I was like, oh yeah, I'm playing Star Wars character. I didn't even watch any of the movies. I just knew it from my dad.
Yep.
That Star Wars was cool. And I was like, oh, I'm a clone. Oh yeah. And I feel like that genre, that console genre, is so important. And then I feel like, and this is a big one, this may be a little bit spicier for some people, but any streamer who is saying that it will be the worst thing that comes to League, or it'll ruin League, or it'll whatever, it won't be anywhere near balance, or everyone's going to have to switch to it, is just rage baiting. And that's what they've been doing for so long. Every champion that comes out, they say that, oh, it's going to break League. Every new system or update that comes out, Otacon was going to break League, Grubs were going to break League.
Zeri was some bullshit. We can all agree on that. We can all agree on Zeri, but beyond that, I agree.
But they're rage baiting because they know you're gonna eat it up. Oh, that's the reason I'm stuck. That's the reason I'm gold. It's because of this, and it's things to blame. Or oh, this champion's so OP, you can play it to get to diamond. That's the same type of clickbait. It's just in the other direction. It's complaint core, and every single League player will just eat it up, or most of them.
Agreed.
And they know what they're doing. They all know what they're doing.
Oh,
they know.
Rage bait drives clicks. Come on, we all know that. We know how social media works. We ain't dumb to it at this point. It's 2025. The rage is the rage is the rage at this point.
It is, and and I think the biggest hater of it, Durdu, he knows he's rage baiting.
I would say oh, what's his name? Dantes. I think Dantes takes the peak on that, but that's just me.
I haven't been paying attention to Dantes since his asylum run.
Don't do it. Just don't. Save yourself the headache. Unfortunately, that is 10 minutes, man. I gotta keep us going to calls.
Oh no, that's good. It was great talking to you.
Anything you want to shout out, man?
Shout out FearX.
Ooh.
Love me some FearX.
Who they got next?
Right now they got. Oh, are you saying who they play next?
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't even know. I think they're off to playoffs. I don't know if it's determined yet. I haven't been paying attention enough.
Interesting to know.
But they just qualified for playoffs against DK, I think it was.
Good for them. DK taking T1 to a full 5 games, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah. Nice talking to you, man. Good luck in your future debates.
It should be fun, man. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
See ya. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we'll keep saying this. If you want to hop in, give your take, be sure to hop in the Crossover Podcast call-in chat in Discord. Let me type hashtag or exclamation mark Discord to get that to pop up. And you can put your take in as well. Come on the show. We're still going in order, taking a look. I know Marn messaged me and said that Cloud is not going to be able to call in on this particular night, despite the fact that he did have a take in there. Up next, though, appears to be Quill, and he has two. We don't have a. We have a lounge. Oh yeah, join the lounge voice chat channel, and then I'll be able to pull you in. Just checking real quick. There was one take from I think Premise, and just seeing if he joined the chat. I don't think he did. So up next is going to be Quill, and I got to see which take he's putting because he did. Brother did the Hotline League classic of putting the two takes in there and making me figure out which one you want me to put in the goddamn chat.
My fault, brother. I got a 5-hour delay. It's slow mode, so I can't.
Oh, you're right. You can't. Oh, okay. Which one do you want to go with?
When you said post another one, and I was like, all right, I'll throw one more in.
Which
one?
Like, which one do you want to start with?
I'll go with I guess we'll go in order. First one.
Let me get this posted in the ticker just so your name gets on screen and the takes there.
Appreciate that.
All right, you're good to go.
Okay, so as someone who's been following LCS or LTA for a long time, even before Riot outsourced the fantasy, participating has been fun, but their awareness or trying to get people aware of LTA South or LTA Sul throughout the league has been just like abysmal. And the only way I really knew or know anything about the league is like keeping up with fantasy and looking at players. So I think if we're going to try and like keep this an actual synergistic dual, bracket or dual league here, then they probably should look into maybe changing that up.
What would you change specifically if you could?
Well, I just think about like maybe more traditional sports. Like I think like with my NFL fantasy going on this year, like you just hear more from the pundits about like the different divisions, or same with the MLB, or even in soccer, like pundits will weigh in or commentators will weigh in on like, oh, here's what's happening in this division with this team, or look, keep an eye out for this player who may be, being a transfer. But like Payne's ADC, I drafted in fantasy, he got a pentakill. I didn't even know until I went and looked at my fantasy team. And I was like, oh my gosh, he just got like crazy points. And I'm pretty sure Payne is about to play Fly, maybe
100 Thieves,
or I know, 100 Thieves. So I don't know, maybe just talking about the broadcast, or I know in the beginning of the year, I think Mark posted something, or there was some sort of updates going on, whether it's on X or like YouTube or whatever. But I have the LTA North YouTube channel on notifications on my phone, and I don't think I've ever seen them talk about LTA Sul in like a short or a video.
No, they did one podcast with somebody that was a representative for the South like the week before the cross tournament playoff back in split one, but I think that was the only time that we've had cross pollination.
Yeah, and I think in general, like obviously people are upset with like how things have turned out with formatting, and I don't know, it doesn't feel very rewarding as like a fan, I guess, if I'm really going to try and care about these teams, when in general like teams in the league are, I feel like, have smaller audiences than maybe did in the past. So like if we're going to try and bring in a region that really a lot of people probably don't know much about, and I'm finding out most of my updates from fantasy is like, I don't know. Personally, I would maybe try and bring it into a segment as part of like a what's going on in the broadcast. I don't, that to me that seems like even if it's only a few minutes, just to give a general update, I feel like would be helpful. But
do you think that's enough though to like start building any sort of connection between the two, or do you think it's no matter what they do, it's going to be a failed attempt?
I mean, that's a good question. In reality, I mean, that's like bare minimum. A 5-minute or a few minute segment on the broadcast to me is like bare minimum. I mean, in reality, if there was more of if there's more care put into like actually making this successful, then you're having way more interaction or crossplay between the two regions throughout the splits, but that's just not happening. Maybe it'll be addressed next year when, I think Mark said something about formatting. I could be wrong about coming up for what they plan on doing. But I mean, yeah, in reality, nothing small is going to have the impact that they're looking for, or that we're looking for, if we're saying that, the other region is important. Especially with like worlds and international slots lowered. I mean, in reality, I'd want them to play more often. Without storylines, like let's say these two teams play each other and then we play again. with 100 Thieves and Fly matching up against these guys. Outside of that, I mean, I'm not going to tune in unless I go watch the English broadcast. Shout out them. The guys doing it on their own time. I'm just never going to watch or care about these teams other than fantasy because I'm forced to, or if I tune into like a LTA South English broadcast on Twitch, or like catch a highlight. I mean, there's no reason to check up on those teams as of now, or any update from Riot through LTA.
I will say, I think there's a lot of work to be done with using fantasy as the promotion as well. Like one of my favorite shows, or at least segments on like ESPN, is like whenever they go into NFL fantasy talk.
Oh, yeah.
And like you're really breaking down the numbers of like who delivered an insane amount of points in situations where you wouldn't think that they would. Like who's over delivering, under delivering, who are your pickups, who are your not. Like that has not been covered at all in Riot direct content.
Yep.
And if you're trying to promote fantasy as a service, like it's one thing to like say, hey, go check out fantasy, and like they'll provide occasional updates. Like like the fun of fantasy is for us to nerd the absolute fuck out over those numbers. And like
for sure,
that is a chance for people to really get invested. And once you get your diehards in, it's a lot easier to then get the casual fan as well. Like I didn't pick a single South player this entire year. If they would have talked about it on any sort of broadcast, maybe I would have picked somebody. I doubt it still, because I tried to keep like that as a, whether it's virtue signaling or not. But I would have been more likely to do it if I would have had any sort of conversation about it that wasn't in Spanish, or like, no offense to, I love Enrique and I love the LTA South crew, but like I'm not going out of my way to watch their content at the moment until we actually cross pollinate. Then I will.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know if I mean, I've been watching for a long time. So before Riot like outsourced fantasy, they had on their website, whatever. I had people who didn't play League who just like created a roster, and just to play, like you're saying. I last year was the first year I ever played fantasy football, but it's because of the people who actually watch it, make me interested. They can give me information, whatever it may be. And then Riot outsourced. I don't remember ever playing it then. Then it wasn't around for a while, and now it's back. I know that people like Raz, for example, has a team. There's some of the people on the broadcast who have teams, but it would be cool to hear I mean, even Raz, for example, just to talk about, hey, I'm going to switch these two players. Here's why, just like you're talking about with ESPN. I mean, that at a bare minimum to me seems like a way to keep up with the other region, or excuse me, the other, what's LTA Sul. But otherwise, right now, like going into this, these games, I mean, I know some of the players because I drafted them. But none of the people I know who previously watched LCS even know that these teams exist or anything about them. So, yeah.
Completely agree with you on that front. I think it will go a long way. Do I think it's ultimately going to work out? I'm not sold on the merger and the interaction between the two in general. So I think, as much as I like this, I do worry that it's kind of a deaf point or a mute point at the end of the day. Sure. But in the context of this, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
But anything you want to shout out, man? I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, for sure. First off, shout out to you. I always enjoy going to the LAN events. I went to the Dig sponsored one. My friend won the chair.
Hey.
And just in general, like to me, the LAN parties are always fun. And I appreciate you doing them because to me, that's something that the community has been lacking since I started watching 12 years ago. Shout out LCS. Thanks for throwing that reminder up to get a team. Found one.
Oh, how you guys doing? You're in week 2 now.
We're 0-2.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes. I think one of the other teams is playing right now, actually. So far so good.
Same here. We are 0-2 in our league as well, which not a great start, but we're gonna rebound. We will turn it around. We have yet to win a single series in 2025.
Everyone loves a good comeback, but
ask Kim Kardashian, right?
Appreciate you doing these things because I called into Travis a few times and it was always fun. So hey man, make it a recurring thing. I think you'll get enjoyment out of it. So
I want to, but I also don't want to. It needs to be different than what existed in the space previously. I'm not a big fan of fair. Just straight up leeching off of something, but
for sure,
it's something that I'm considering.
100%.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate your time.
No problem. Chat. Yes, I did fuck up and say that the LTA Sul was in Spanish. It is Portuguese. All right. Don't need the. You know what picture gets spammed if you fuck up something against Brazil. So that's on me. All right. My bad on that. But again, a reminder, as I will keep reminding people after each and every call, if you want to hop in, if you want to get your take heard, be sure to put it in the Crossover Podcast call-in topics channel in the Discord. And let's see who's next. Okay, we just got Quill. Uh-oh. It is another Brazilian take. This should be fun. It's Bazbal. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Talking my ass off. The normal. Another night.
Yep.
So what's your take, man?
So I mean, a lot of my points were talked about last about the LTA, but my main stance is I believe the LTA could have succeeded, or at least not have failed as much, if instead of having the South and North be split and divided, they instead came together kind of more like the VCT Americas and actually faced off during the regular season.
So you're saying full merger?
Full merger, yes.
All right. I'm assuming play in LA, or because the complication with that is obviously if we're fully merging it, we have 16 teams total?
Yeah.
How are you gonna make that work?
Well, I think first things first. Obviously, some play-in. There's the 2 play-in teams, DSG and I forget what the one.
Isn't it Isurus?
No, it's 1 second. It is. Oh yeah, it is Isurus. Yeah. So obviously both of them are play-in teams. I don't know if obviously the play-in teams are going to. I don't know how that's going to succeed. We'll see how that fares in obviously next year.
Yeah.
But potentially removing them, and obviously maybe we do have already the LPL that does a 16-team setup. So we do have evidence that a 16-team setup can work in the league space.
Sure. They also have multiple stadiums spread out across China and a much more interested demographic than the assumed budgetary restrictions and days that we would have imposed on us trying to implement a 16-team league.
Yeah, but I think the benefit is the fact that right now, like it was said previously, the South and North there's no reason calling them the LTA North and South when they only face off. They've only ever facing off twice this year.
Yep, agreed.
Like there is absolute. I would rather that or rebrand the South and North back to separate things so that they actually feel separate and just say, okay, your spots are shared, but you still have this shared different names.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look, I ultimately agree with you. This is my call into Hotline League back in Split 1. Was just stop pussyfooting around trying to do the thing that you either need to do or just keep it separate. And I do think it would be best macro-wise if you're gonna have this converged region LTA thing, just either you got to bring it all together in some way, shape, or form. That said, I think the best outcome would just be to keep them separate. I don't think I'd rather, if we're gonna come together, just do all of summer together, keep winter and spring separate, and then bring the best of each region together in summer, and they play for worlds in some capacity. There's no, I don't know. I don't find a good answer in all of this, just because the regions just feel so distinctly different. They don't give a shit about us. We couldn't possibly give a shit about them. They're nowhere close to our level in any way, shape, or form. That's I just have no reason to care at all.
I would agree with the fact that they are very different, but I think that's what can make for interesting storylines.
Agreed. Okay, yes, agree.
Yeah, interesting storylines throughout the whole thing. It's been amazing to see MIBR fight their way to the America's VCT championships and make it 2 champions this year. It's been amazing to see them fight through North America and actually get there. It's amazing to see Crude always finds a way to challenge at least for one of those spots in the VCT. And that all just makes me want to watch. And even though I might not want them to beat Sentinels or G2, I do love seeing the feeling of David versus Goliath that you get when the South faces the North.
I agree with you on this front. I think it would, as a product, be better if we definitely get to face each other more often. And will we get there? I don't know. I personally think I think there's not enough budget and money involved for them to make it work properly, is my only concern. Like my priority at the moment is just getting more games, period. And I'm worried that if you merge everything, what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot more teams playing a lot less games, and nobody's going to be happy.
Yeah, understandable concern.
I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, obviously, I do think that is a main concern, and I guess I think we're in a catch-21 situation, like you said, where if you keep them the way it is, it doesn't really work out because they're still divided. They're just called the same thing. But definitely, if you try and merge them, you have that. But I think I'm picking the thing that I think could, if it works out correctly, get more eyes and more storylines to the LTA, because I think ultimately that's what I think we need more of in the LTA.
I mean, I agree. I need a guy running shirtless to go grab a trophy and flicking off North American players desperately. Like,
yeah.
I don't think, like, a lot of League fans would not be ready for this, but, like, imagine, like, Texas comes and there's a fuck you Bwipo chant that starts going around. Like, the League community would have a freaking heart attack. And every Call of Duty fan would be like, oh, we just replaced the word Drozzle with Bwipo? I'm down. Let's go. Like, it's a different atmosphere, and I know the Brazilian culture is more like that. And, like, I'm down for it, even if it would come at the heart attack of many North American fans.
Yeah.
But anything else you want to add on, man, before a shout out?
Nope. I think I got most of my points out.
Anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, ECA. I'm hopefully I'm gonna try and start streaming regularly on Twitch for ECAC College, TFT and Valorant this upcoming October.
ECAC. Why? Eastern.
Oh God, I don't remember. 1 second. I can look up the name real fast. I always just call it ECAT. The official full name is.
Because when I see the second I hear EC, I assume it's gonna be followed by U, like Eastern Carolina University.
Yeah. God, they never have the full name anywhere. It's like Eastern Atlantic Conference, basically. It's okay. All of the East Coast who registers for it. Like, there's some big names in it. Like,
gotcha.
I know University of Virginia. I mean, not
hey,
Virginia. Yeah, Virginia's in there.
Hey, so. There we go. All right. Yeah. It's Virginia Tech that does Enter Sandman, not Virginia, right? For their tradition. Yep. Okay. Damn. All right. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate the take. All right, folks. As always, between calls, we'll keep saying we are pretty much an hour in flat on this. We've gotten through a bunch of takes, but obviously there's room for much, much more. If you want to hop in the Discord, put your take in the Crossover Podcast call-in text chat, join the voice chat. we will eventually get to the takes. Just double checking to make sure Premise didn't come back because I'm trying to keep an eye on that. He did not. So next up, oh man, we're really gonna make me talk about this? God damn it. Fine. Mastergen, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hold up, you are really quiet on my end. Let me make sure I
Oh, I'm
jack.
sorry. I'm using my headphone. My kids are going crazy right now, so I'm using my headphones.
Nah, you're fine. I'm just jacking up the volume on my side. Should be a lot better.
Okay.
You're good to go. What's your take, man?
All right. So my take is when 100 Thieves actually leaves the LTA, I don't want Quid or River to go to TL. I'd rather see them on Shopify over anything else. And if Quid alone goes to SR, I don't want River on C9. And DSG for next split, I think they'll beat whoever they'll be playing in for the promotion, and they'll be better for next split.
All right. Well, first things first. River is currently set to do his military service. So
that's even better.
I don't think he's gonna.
Better,
I don't think he's gonna be involved in the conversation on this front. So
All right.
the main thing of this is gonna be. So you want Quid to go to Shopify versus Team Liquid?
Yes.
Why?
Yes. So as far as my entire perspective on it, I think there'll be some major shakeups for C9 and TL. I think there'll be changes for top and mid, and maybe there'll be a change for support on TL. I don't think, but for sure, I'm seeing a change coming for them. And the reason why I don't want Quid there is because I think his playstyle fits more into Shopify's than it would into TL, because TL is more of a here's the box, stay in that box and stay within that box only. Whereas Shopify, for Shopify, they're more flexible with their picks. You can see it even with B-Boy sometimes, the picks that he makes. You can see it even with Palafox right now, even though he's not the best.
Yeah, that's the politically correct way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. But right now, I think Quid would one up their game a whole lot. I think he would slot in perfectly there.
Okay. I see the vision. My question would be, in a world where Team Liquid also brings in potentially Golden Glue or makes a change to allow them to be more loose, are you fine with it then?
If Golden Glue goes to TL, yes. Golden Glue is the only coach that I've followed for a pretty long time, since DSG.
Okay.
And I've seen his playstyle and I like it a lot. He's crazy to a degree, but his crazy is good crazy. I like it.
Okay. So I because that's my angle that I see. And like, look, Quid going to Team Liquid, I think is like the presumed, like probably like 99% gonna happen. Like that's where everybody's mind frame is, because we just all know Steve. We all know like where the money's at. If Quid wants the money, he's there. What if he went to LPL or not LPL, LCK?
LCK. Now that's the other worry that I have, because Quid has shown that he can perform when the pressure is on, and I think a proper LCK team, I don't see anything changing in the top 4 teams. I can see it for maybe top 5, maybe BDD going up from KT and Quid probably slotting in there. That's my main worry. If he goes to LCK, as long as it's not a bottom 4 team, what's their name? DNF, where Berserk's at. As long as it's not a team like that, I'm perfectly fine with it. But I'd prefer if he stays in NA. We need the talent, man.
I will say I also do like the idea of like contracts being the replacement for River for Quid.
Yes.
I like that a lot, because I think they complement each other like stylistically in mid jungle. It feels like it's the most natural replacement.
I think they'll go crazy, because not only does Quid give the jungle a lot more pick potential, they get to play a lot more flexible when it comes to the champs that they get to select and the plays that they get to make. No offense to Palafox, I think his champ pool is pretty decent, but when it comes to picking things outside the box, you don't really see that from him.
I think that's fair. I would agree with that. The second half of your take was that the sky is going to be
Yes.
that first and foremost that they're apparently going to win the promotion tournament, and
I-
notably you have what, Summit and Ghost on the same team down there.
Yep. Look, as far as I'm concerned, the I've been saying since January, C9 and TL are frauds. I've been saying it since Hotline League. And when I watched that game against C9 when they were in that elimination game, I saw a glimpse of something that I know was coming, and it's coming fast. As far as their performance overall, it's been lackluster, mainly because I said it the day when they signed Abadage. Nothing against him; he was a good player back in the day, but Abadage was not the pick for DSG. And who they have now with what's his name? How do you pronounce his name? Kain? For not Mhakey. What's his name?
No,
Ghost.
wait, isn't the yeah, what the Caney from Dignitas.
Caney, right?
Yeah.
Right. I think if DSG had gotten Caney before they got I'm stuttering on the name now. Before they got Darkwing,
Yeah.
I think they'll still do good. But those two mid laners were who I was watching back when they were performing in tier 2, and they did pretty well. They performed well, and they showed it. And I was looking for that kind of promotion from DSG. So right now, looking at their team, XU, even Castle made a massive glow up. I was surprised at his performance. So I'm on the DSG boat for them beating their promotion game, and they're coming back to LTA with a power behind them. I think they have something to prove, and I think they'll be proving it next split.
I'm now of the opinion as well that Disguise is, like, after the changes that they made, that they should be able to safely promote. I am going to be curious to see what happens with that extra spot. I don't think it's going to Disguise like some people are assuming that it is.
Okay.
But I'd be shocked if Disguise loses it at this point. I don't know
I
enough
would-
about like the other teams going in. I don't think anybody in NACL can hold a candle to them at all. But
honestly, I would not put it past Luminosity. Luminosity has been putting on a really good show.
that's
even
assuming they don't
though-
sell that fucking team. Like that org
I can see
already
that.
sold them off.
I can see that. I can 100% see that. Honestly, the biggest glow up for me has been Fake God. Fake God on Luminosity.
Oh,
has
dude,
looked-
no, don't feed me this bullshit that I've been hearing
No,
since 2019.
looking
He's the
really
second
good.
coming of God. We're gonna bench someday for him. He's it. We're doing
Bruh.
it. We're gonna bring him the Shopify Rebellion. He's it. He's gonna do it. We're gonna bring him up in Luminosity to tier 1. He's it. He's gonna do it.
Let me tell you some cope, man. Let me tell you some cope. Huff some with me real quick. Now look, Fake God has been a habitual choker. I will not dispute that. He's underperformed a crazy amount when he came up to LCS. I have to agree there. But looking at his performance with the current team that he's on, he has looked completely different. Maybe it's against the tier 2s where he is performing. He's a low elo stomper, so to speak. Maybe that's the case. But if he transfers his performance from what he's doing right now, even if the team gets sold, I think he'll be much better now if he comes back to LTA. I can see it. Trust.
Fake God, I will continue to say, is a JUCO king that could never do well in D1.
Well,
He's had enough chances. He's going to continue to be a JUCO god, but beyond that, I'm not willing to put him up in that tier 1 category. I cannot. I've not seen him do it enough times. I can't.
Well, we'll see how he performs. They have a match coming up on Friday the 12th. So I'll be looking out for that one and seeing how they perform. Honestly, I just don't think anyone is at the level where I've seen DSG performed right now that would beat them. I'm not sure about the other conference, how those teams performed, but I've seen enough to think that DSG will hold their spot for LTA North, and they'll be coming back next split stronger than before.
Gotcha. Well, unfortunately, that means that we are at least out of time for this one. Any shout outs you want to give? If I remember correctly, based on your accent and from what I remember on Hotline League, you're calling from Jamaica, right?
Yeah, I'm calling from the good parish of St. James.
Very nice. What shout outs you want to give, man?
Yeah, I want to shout out the Jamaican streamer, Ravy, our mid lane Nefiri one trick, and the Jamaican teams. We have a few lower tier teams that play here. Shout out all the Esports JA team, and thanks for the time, man.
Very nice.
Shout out.
Thank you for calling in, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Have a good one.
You too. See you around. I try to remember. So obviously, like with some of the calls that come in here, I recognize some of the names from Hotline League, and his was one that I couldn't remember. Like, I remember the name Mastergen immediately, and it wasn't until he started talking that I was like, that's why I remember Mastergen so clearly, because I think he was like the only Jamaican caller that ever called into the show. Anero leaving for Korean barbecue and chat in 15 minutes is very fitting. Just makes sense. As always, if you want to call into the show, if you haven't gotten your take in yet, we got a few more left, but there's still more than enough room for everybody to come on in and give your take. If you got anything you want to discuss, anything that you've even disagreed with the show so far, be sure to come in, give your thoughts. The next name is one that is, speaking of Hotline League, he's a Hotline League staple. And on this particular one, I have a feeling that it's going to be controversial, as always. What do you got for me, Con?
Controversial, maybe because I'm talking to like people who are the hardcore fans, but my take is changing the NA Pro schedule to have a similar schedule and the amount of games and stuff they play every week to LPL and LCK is only going to make it harder to gain fans and will push whatever North American fans you already have kind of away, just because of how repetitive it would become, how much people don't even want to watch half the teams already played. I just think it becomes and I say this a lot with a lot of stuff this year. I think the 3-split format has proved it. Once again, like we saw with EU, we have too much league for the average person in North America. And I think for most of the world, we have too much League of Legends going on in a year. If you turn it into like it's being played almost every day during the week for almost the whole entire year, I think more people are just going to check out and be like, you know what? You're telling me I need to make this my whole life entertainment-wise or not at all. And I think more people will just choose not at all.
Okay, here's the thing. I understand that point if you're watching every single region. I entirely get that because it is a lot of league. If you're trying to watch every region and then tack on additional North American games on top of that schedule. But you can't sit here with a straight face and tell me that if you were just watching North American League of Legends, that we're getting enough league right now. There's no way.
I think we're getting too much already this year.
No
I think
chance.
For an average person, yes. For hardcore fans that can do this all day, every day, they're fine. But to have the schedule out to where you're, as a fan, you're kind of expected to tune in every weekend from January all the way to November, it is too much.
Here's what I'll say. Have we or have we not made every decision over the last 4 years to try and please the casual audience and bring them in? That's been the narrative from Riot for 4 years, has it not?
In some way or another, yes.
Whether it works or not, that's been their stated intention. We have to be able to agree on that.
No, I agree with that, yeah.
It hasn't fucking worked. So
their solution has been play more. They haven't.
It hasn't been play more games. We've played less games this year than any other year. We've played less, and it didn't work.
The schedule is still longer this year, though.
It might be longer, but we're playing less. 100 Thieves play less. I got to watch less 100 Thieves League of Legends this year than I have any other year. That's why this, honest to God, this past weekend was so fucking good for me. Not even just because we won, obviously, but like a weekend where I got to watch 3 series of 100 Thieves League was so goddamn good. Now, do I need 3 series every weekend? No, I agree with your point. That's a lot. But I need it more often than what I'm getting because, dear God, did that feel good. I don't even give a shit if we lost all 3.
I think that would feel good, yes. Imagine if you made the league calendar schedule to where it's only 6 months out of the year, and you were forced to have that more often in those 4 to 6 months, more or less like 4 months you'd have regional play. You'd be getting easily every weekend 200 Thieves series instead of trying to put it on for a whole entire year.
But what's going to happen in those other, like, I get your point. Your point is like try and consolidate it down more like the NFL where you get that like massive rush for a few months and then you have enough time in the off season to then come back refreshed so that massive rush feels good, right? Like, is that okay?
Well, there's that, and you follow like I think anything in particular, like whether it's like TV shows that the reason why TV shows have over time shrunken down to being 8 to 10 episodes, whether people like it or not, is also because that's what engages viewers better over time more too. Like binging, things that go on for a full year just kind of does lose viewership and interest.
100% with you. With the exception being that you still got to do off-season events. The thing I would say, and I see a narrow spamming it in chat, is that I will agree to your solution on one condition and one condition only. The extra games that or the less games that we are playing, they need to be way more meaningful. I need them at road shows. I need them at colleges. I need them somewhere other than LA in a fucking closet.
You're talking to a person who's been saying this since like 2015 that we need to.
You and I are on the same page there. I know that part for a fact.
Because, and I think Anero brings up a great point in chat. Colleges are there. I worked with colleges when I was in college in the administration departments. Like, they're looking for easy things that they can bring in to give their students something to do. They might not know what League of Legends is, but guess what? They an esport thing, but they'll be like, oh, tens of thousands of people watch this, and oh, sure, we'll give them a discount to go be in our theater here on campus and host it. I know our administration didn't know who Key and Peele were when they hired him before Key and Peele got big, but guess what? Like, they brought this stuff like that in, for their students. So I'm all about getting things off that type of a way. I just worry. I think I so much I see from people is like, and I get the idea of wanting more games. I think I could handle like the more game type schedule if Riot had like, because my fear is you go to a longer schedule, you go online or whatever. But like I know the broadcast is cheaper not being in studio potentially, but I still think the cost of having all the casters there is still too much to have like offline weekend things. What I would do is I would be like, okay, the main Riot broadcast schedules the biggest games every week, and organizations, it's your job to broadcast your team's game if it's in the middle of the week. If you're doing online only, it's you're a team in this league when you're playing. It's official play. Riot will provide referees and stuff, but like. Or it's your job to broadcast your game. We don't feel like you're big enough to warrant us paying our broadcast team to broadcast in the middle of the week.
If that happens, even though like I get it, I think it's chalked. Like, the community backlash would be so bad that it's chalked. Like, because there is public sentiment that you do have to worry about, and it would be demolished if Riot is sitting here saying, "No, we just ain't gonna do shit. You go ahead and do it yourself."
The community hasn't the community isn't big enough to support that type of stuff though. So it's and I get the backlash, but it's one of those where like if you want it, might be the only way you should be able to get it.
I don't see another take at the moment on city-based things, but I mean, I will just keep putting my take out there that a team really needs to actually dedicate themselves to New York and build a fan base here. You need to pick a bar that you partner with, and every single time that you play, you have the game on at that bar. And
I don't like them, but it just should be C9.
It objectively should be C9. I agree. Yeah. I don't trust them because I saw what they did for their Call of Duty team this last year, and they did fuck all in New York. And I have a hard time believing that they would do it properly. I trust myself more than I trust any other organization in League of Legends right now. And I just simply don't have the time or assets to like properly make it happen. Nor would I want to put my neck out for a team that's not willing to like fully go all in on it. But like it has to happen. Like I'm tired of every single thing being in LA. I'm so over it, and I'm so done acting like LA's the cream of the crop and that we have to be there.
It's just not like.
And that's not saying you need to be in New York here either, because I get it. Unions are even more expensive here. Things are not easy, but it can't be in LA anymore. It cannot be. But that is unfortunately time, Con. Hate to cut us short. I know you and I can go forever.
No. It was done there. I was like, okay, that's done. Even if it wasn't time, I'd be like, it's done.
Anything you want to shout out, man?
You know, fall movie season, award movie season's coming up. So if you guys are interested in anything like that, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Josh Kahn, last name Kon, where we also talk right now about Big Brother, which had a pretty controversial week this week. I fear some of the Riot execs work over on the production crew there, but you know,
are we talking?
You can go
like on a scale of 1 to Bwipo. How are we talking?
Oh, Bwipo.
Okay.
Yeah. Full on, yeah. Okay, not in terms of like somebody being like sexist or racist and anything as bad as what that was, but as term as like completely big fuck up. Yeah, Bwipo. It's Bwipo.
It's very wide.
Yeah,
at a minimum. Thank you so much, man, for calling in. I appreciate it as always.
Yep. Have a good night.
You too, man. All right, as always, ladies and gentlemen, you know the deal. If you want to call in, because I did see a message in chat about this. If you want to join the call and get your take in, you have to join the Discord, which I will put in chat right now. Join the Discord, accept all the rules, hop into the lounge voice channel, and then put your take in the Crossover Podcast call-in channel, and I will get you on here. We are going through takes, and next up, oh boy, this should be fun. It's Mr. LPL himself. It's Aries. How you doing, man? Oh, he can't hear me. He's deafened. He's muted. But I know he's in chat, so there he is.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Mr. Robot. You disconnect. Say a full sentence for me real quick.
Hello, David Shynock.
Okay, you're back. Yeah, you were just cutting out and robotic there for a little bit. Thank you, Anero, for coming into the stream for a little bit. Aries, I am not taking your LPL take. We're focusing this one on your first one. Give me what you got.
Oh, fine. All right. I think that Dignitas needs to be removed from the league, effective immediately, and DSG should take their place.
DSG.
Yes.
Why DSG? And how?
So DSG has done significantly more for NA League already than Dignitas has done over their entire run.
Since coming back, I'm assuming, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, since coming back.
Okay.
I'm not too familiar with what they were doing before. Obviously, I know that they had some pretty big names at some point. I believe like Skara being one of them.
Yep.
But like, even if you talk to any of those people who were on Dignitas at that point, they have terrible things to say about the organization. So that doesn't help the league in any way, shape, or form. And even then, those people who were a part of Dignitas in the good old days are a part of DSG now. So you know that's like a point of contention there.
Okay.
In my opinion, you as Riot partially buy out Dignitas' spot, and then you let DSG pay for whatever portion they actually could. Disguised Toast has openly said that he wanted to buy 100 Thieves' spot, and he wasn't given the opportunity because they had already found a partner.
Oh, so it's confirmed to not be DSG 100%.
He did say it on stream but mind you, it was a while ago. I can't like
Yeah,
give
but
you
apparently this,
100%
according to 100 Thieves, this has been like done since or for like a long time. So I would believe that, even if he said
Yes.
it like months ago. I would
Yes.
100% believe that.
Yeah. So I'm like inclined to believe it as well. One, uh Dignitas has been a pipeline for ruining people's careers. I've been pretty open about that on my Twitter and other social medias. It's been a pipeline of like quote unquote proof that NA rookies don't work and they aren't skilled enough to compete in NA. And we are being proven as those rookies move on to other teams that it is not them and their individual skill. It's actually Dignitas's environment and the way that they run things over there. Surdy looks significantly better as a player over in Lions. Eggsy looks significantly better as a player on DSG. Obviously, I know now their stuff is picking up, but like if you looked at how they had their team at the beginning, I was from the get-go saying that this team's not going to succeed, just because of the pieces that I thought that they had. And I think that DSG's impact, especially with Disguised Toast actually co-streaming DSG matches, it makes such a massive difference, and it changes the way people see League. People care that Ruler's walking around in a DSG jersey. He like when he's at MSI, he wasn't wearing a Gen Z jacket. He was wearing a DSG jacket. People care about those things.
Yep.
Right? So I think that like it's just hard to like defend Dignitas's contributions to the league because there isn't any. Can you name a Dignitas fan? Can anybody in chat name a Dignitas fan?
I can name old school Dig fans. I can't name anybody that's a fan of Dignitas post 2021. Personally.
Yeah, like
and that's,
for me, that's when
and
I came
I
into
say
watching
this
the league.
I say this with a ton of respect to the day-to-day staff there, because I mean I'll acknowledge my bias. I'm good friends with Silvix. He runs their content team over there. I love him to death, like despite all of the woes that might have happened as of late with them. I know a few people within like sales and marketing because I worked with them whenever they gave away their chair during it was split one finals, 100 Thieves versus 100 or TL that they gave away something, and actually caller earlier, his friend ended up winning it. So like I don't want to say that like they don't. There are things that they do that are good for the community at points, or at least that I'm exposed to because I'm in a unique position where they are willing to work with me on stuff like this whenever other orgs weren't willing to do anything. And it helps because they're based out of New Jersey, because they're owned by the same people that own the New Jersey Devils. So the Prudential Center when finals was there was like through Dignitas.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with how Dignitas inner workings.
Yeah, like the problem is their league pillar, like what actually happens on the Rift, the product that they are delivering on that front, I agree, is not worthy of being in the LCS anymore at all. And I will continue to call it LCS for those wondering, because I just refuse to believe that the LTA will exist next year. It will be the LCS. I agree with you. It's killing rookies' careers at points, or at least setting them back. There's a lot of problems ongoing there. Clearly, Bakery is an issue for so many of the players that have come in and out, that it's like you need massive shakeups to upper management to be able to get that to work. My issue with, I agree, putting Disguised in their place would arguably be better for the league, depending on who obviously goes in for 100 Thieves. My issue with that being that Dignitas does own the spot. And unless Riot buys it back and is willing to give it to DSG, I'm not willing to sacrifice, in my opinion, what makes DSG good, which is Disguised is willing to lose the amount of money that he wants on it by his choice. I don't want a repeat of 2019 where we then set a standard of, hey, it's $10 million, or not even 10 anymore, like $5 million to get the spot. Well, guess what? We have to make up that $5 million over the next 5 years. And we're never going to be able to do that. So the expectation of what DSG has to be changes. So I don't, same thing for like Los Fortunas. We don't want them getting into the LEC if it fucks up like what is existing there. So I agree. I want them in the league. I'd rather have DSG over Dig in the league. But I don't want the idea of Disguised having to fork over an arm and a leg and fuck the org from a financial point to do it.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, like that could come as like 2 promotional slots. I mean, to be honest, outside of the fact that there's a single LLA org that has, Ghost and Summit, which by the way aren't actually performing to the expectations you'd think with a roster that has Ghost, Summit, Winsome. I'll be
my
blatantly
expectation
honest.
is if you had to go to the LLA to play, you're in shit form. So they're performing right to my expectations personally.
Oh, well, they're losing in the LLA, so take that with a grain of salt. They lost series. They had to do a losers bracket run to qualify for the promotional series.
Damn.
Yeah, and they're dropping games. It's not even like, okay, they're blowing up. They only blew out in the first round, which is because they got to pick their opponent. And then afterwards, they were like, it's 3-2 series. Like, these are close games in the LLA. Tier 2. LLA Tier 2. And that's not, like, it's just, I don't think that it's, even if you do come to the point where it's like, okay, now we have 2 promotional guest slots. Okay, well, you have 2 teams. You have whatever team's getting relegated. But the 2 teams that would get relegated play up against the whoever 2 teams make it to the end. Plain and simple.
I would agree, but my thing is I'd rather have 10 teams than have 6 teams permanent and 2 teams rotating. But that's just, I mean, that's debating a whole other point. I think we're on the same page for the most part for this.
Yeah, we are. I think we are on the same page. I know, obviously, everybody knows me as a Dignitas hater, a Dignitas and a T1 hater, but like in this case, Dignitas is what matters.
Yep.
But I think, like, biases aside, I've yet to see a benefit out of Dignitas being inside of the league, because, like, realistically, I look at the players that were on Dignitas and Split 1, and it's really hard to ever justify having the place that they did. I think they should have performed significantly better. Because at the end of the day, like, these talents, these guys do perform well, and they do scrim tier 1 teams. They beat tier 1 teams in scrims when they were in Flyquest Challengers. Obviously, it's not public information, but like tier 2 teams beating tier 1 teams, not a secret. It happens all the time, right? So the idea that we just don't have the talent domestically is okay. I could say bullshit on stream. It's just bullshit. We have the talent domestically. Our domestic talent beats the Korean talent in our tier 2 league, and we just refuse to, like, it never progresses anywhere because only Dignitas picks them up.
Yep. Well, unfortunately, that is time, man. I got to get to the next caller. Is there anything you want to shout out, not only for yourself or knowing you, probably the LPL?
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna shout out my own socials. I'm Deicide Aries on all platforms. And I also want to shout out Shopify because they've been actually pretty great to me and nice to me as people. And I think everybody should be following them as a team. I know I initially got into it because I'm just Canadian, and so are they. But they have been fantastic people to me. The players are fantastic. The staff is fantastic. So it's definitely an org worth following if you were a 100 Thieves fan of past or to be past.
I see what you're trying to do there.
No, listen, it's not just you. I know you have 100 Thieves fans here. And then also, I guess shout out to the LPL because they're such an entertaining league, and I think that the LTA could definitely take some notes from them and their TikTok and just everything that the LPL is doing. Because man, they just run everything beautifully over there.
Gotcha. I do got to move on to the next call, man. But thank you so much for calling.
Fair enough. All right, take it easy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. In terms of the lineup here, we still got an hour and 20 minutes to go. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I see another one typing in chat 5, so it's 50 minutes, which means there's room for like 3 more takes After that, with like 10-minute segments each. Obviously, if more come in, I can kind of cram it in from there. But as always, I'm going to type in !Discord in the chat. Hop in the Discord. Put your take into the Crossover Podcast call and text channel. Join the voice channel, and I will drag you in. Next up, we got Radley. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Oh, good. I need to turn you way the hell up here. You're a little bit quiet on my side. What's your? I think you should be good now. What's your take, man?
So my take, as it reads, is there's a super team made up of LTA North or LCS and NACL players right now. I can't say who that could win Worlds if they were put on the correct team. And Flyquest and many other rosters in the LCS right now are proof of it.
Why is Flyquest a sign of that?
Flyquest was, as LS has put it in recent posts, a group of basically ragtag nobodies. For people are going to tell me that they weren't nobodies because a lot of them were storied professionals. But Busio was storied coming from the NACL, and then he took 6th in his first split. Masu was brand new in the LCS. Inspired and Bwipo had both had at least multiple splits off, and Quad was a choker. And so Flyquest was a bunch of will you believe in us? And they believed, and they put the roster together, and they've been able to do great things because they believed, and they made a generational run because of it.
Why though that? Okay, so I agree with your point that there are definitely mixes of NACL players and pro players that could absolutely like go on runs. Winning Worlds is a whole other thing. Like what? Like how does that mix contribute to overcoming the hurdle and differences between us and the LCK, the systemic differences, the in-game differences, like everything?
So I will say there's a caveat to what I said. I think there's many systemic changes that need to happen within the LCS as a whole. I think as many people have said, the format is very challenging for people to improve in the current LCS ecosystem.
Yeah.
And so LTA North players and NACL players will need the right format going into Worlds to learn from each other and to grow. But given the right set of 5 players, I could easily see them. The Korean players are just players after all. They're humans just as much as any of the Americans are. They can. I believe that they can overcome that. That might be entirely copium, but I think they can.
Hey, you're talking to the king of cope here, so you don't need to worry about me finding a narrative argument to agree with your point.
So yeah, that's my 2 cents. It's just I think that there is hope in NA, and I think that there might be a set of 5 players. And keep in mind, I don't watch NACL all the time. I wish I had the time to. Unfortunately, I have a wife and 2 kids, and so I don't have the time to just watch NACL all the time. But I think that there is probably a set of maybe 2 or 3 experienced players and 2 or 3 NACL players that could easily win the LCS and then easily at least top 2 Worlds. And if we can top 2 Worlds, I don't see why LCS wouldn't get back a certain amount of viewership and get a format change as a result.
I see that. My thing is, I think that a North American team could win Worlds and it wouldn't change anything about the LCS next year.
You don't think so? I think
No.
it would regain interest.
I don't think so, because I think the thing that people are discounting in this is like who are the extra, like, who are you picking up in terms of extra viewership? Is it new people that are coming in to watch it for the first time because North America sounds like this hype thing? Or are you getting people to watch from other regions that stopped watching?
I think it's a mix of both. So let me give you an example. The LCP has for years now been unable to garner viewership for a lot of people because the LCP has always been seen as a minor region, not unlike what was CBLOL? That's what it's called.
Yeah, see Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil. Not unlike CBLOL. With the new team, the CTBO Flying Oysters.
Yep.
They have been doing amazing this year, and everyone has fallen in love with them because their players have personality. They're doing great against Korean teams and against Chinese teams. And I think they're giving hope to LCP, and I think I can't tell you that they have been getting exceptionally higher numbers, but I have known more people who've been watching them personally. I've seen more people talking about them this year than previous years. I think we just need the right bit of people understanding that we're not just a level behind the Chinese and Korean teams to show that we can get back. Does that make sense?
It does. Maybe I'm just pessimistic on this. And like the thing that gave me a little bit of like maybe you have more credit to this than I'm giving it credit for is I thought back to the initial arguments with Caitlin Clark whenever she came into the WNBA. And for me, like the thought process was like, does winning really change anything? And I don't know if winning does, but at minimum, giving people something that is fun to watch definitely does. Because like the second Caitlin Clark came into the WNBA, you saw people wanting to watch her that would refuse to watch the WNBA prior to that. We do love a spectacle here in America more than anything else. And a team winning worlds would, if given the right format and given the right way to like showcase that team off to everybody, would create a spectacle. I'm just worried that people would see it as a one-off flash in the pan rather than actual change. And I just want the system that they would be coming back to actually be able to support like a world's caliber team. And I don't feel like we're doing that right now, and it would deter people from watching. But maybe I'm just overly pessimistic on that.
I don't disagree with you. The fact that the broadcast has been going frankly downhill for the past few years, it is not a sign of good faith in our product. So I can understand the pessimism there.
I want to believe. I do. Do I think we're going to get a Worlds win anytime soon? No. That's where I think the problem comes in. I will believe that if Flyquest can make a run this year. If I want to believe this opinion and this view, Flyquest at minimum has to make semis this year.
Totally fair.
Or 100. Somebody from North America has to make semis this year. We cannot continue to just lose that first major best of 5 against Korea or China every year.
That is totally fair.
Because then it's more of the same. Like what has changed in the last 3 years if Flyquest loses in the quarterfinals again? In the same way that they did last year, in the same way that NRG did the year prior, and viewership for us is just declining year over year. Like nothing changes then. So like there has to be a sign that it steps up, and then maybe in 2026 I'll give you that, you know, we make a run. Like we build upon that and we keep growing and go from there.
Totally fair. But that's the gist of my take. Maybe it's a shorter one. But
no, we actually went 10 minutes, so that was not a short take. Like I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Awesome. Well,
anything you want to shout out, man?
I want to shout out you. You have been a great part of this community, and I really appreciate all the work that you do to make. I am a relatively new player. Watcher of League. I haven't played since 2010. But I'm a relatively new watcher of League. I started back in 2022, and joining your community back when Bjergsen joined the roster was wonderful. And so I really appreciate your part in the community, and I appreciate your streams all the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you for calling in and taking the time out of your day to even talk. I appreciate it.
Catch you later.
See you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we'll continue to shout out after this. First and foremost, thank you to everybody that has called in. It's been 2 hours of this. People have continued to have really fun takes, really amazing talks. We still got a full hour to go. But just want to remind people, if you want to put your take in, as always, hop in our Discord, which is in the chat right now, also in the description of the YouTube video that you might be watching it on, because it's a 50-50 split pretty much between Twitch and YouTube viewership right now. Put your take in the Crossover Podcast call-in channel and hop in the voice chat, and I will drag you in. We are going on to the next take, which, oh boy, this is going to get spicy. Oh boy, here we go. How's it going?
No matter if you are. Oh, hey,
What up?
how are you, man?
I'm doing good. You ready to burn the house down?
Oh, yes, I do, man. I have a pretty hot take right now. So
Okay, what we got?
Okay, so I'm gonna say this right now. I think the LTA this year has been an absolute disaster. And oh, by the way, do you watch my rant video on Bwipo? By the way, do you watch my rant video on Bwipo?
I have not
You
had
did?
time to watch much of anything content-wise.
Okay, that makes sense. But I said a pretty choice words about the whole Bwipo situation, and this also falls into the situation with LTA, which is like the entire LTA split. Screw it. The entire LTA year has been an absolute disaster from Riot's part. Listen, the Bwipo situation is kind of like different, but with the formats, with the lack of engagement, with I don't know, the mismanagement of this whole thing, including like the small thing, like the LTA North thing, the promotion thing. It's like, guys, like we can run. Listen, David, let's be honest. You and I can just run LTA pretty much handily all by ourselves. We can just run this whole thing all by ourselves. We don't even need money to do it.
It's a little more complicated than we will give it credit for. I will always make that disclosure, but I still do think we would make better decisions.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Let's be honest. You and I combine, and maybe Khan can make better decisions than Riot. Let's be honest.
We might still get the same political red tape, which is always the shitty part. But I want to look. I've been highly critical of so many choices that have been made. Just from first of all, the merger was such. I don't care if you merge, you got to go all or nothing. You can't do this halfway, pussyfooting around the actual idea of what you want to do. To strip identity then further from there, you're taking a half measure but doing the shittiest half measure possible. It's like, come on. Then the format, just did everything. We had so much going for us. Much going for us at the end of last year, and then this year we just fuck everything up.
And around that time that, Flyquest was nearly being Gen G. It was such a great moment for them, and for the LTA announcement to happen around that time, it just makes it feel like guys, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Come on, man. And it's not just LT, and it's just not North America, of course. The South America is getting absolutely no good treatment, of course. I do content, of course, doing League of Legends, and I mentioned about LTA South just a little bit because it's not their fault. It is not their fault that they treat it like this. It's like they're getting being treated like a third world country or something. I just don't like this. Just have the LCS back. Let the South have CBLOL and just be done with it. If you're gonna make the LTA good, just have the LCS and then the CBLOL back. If you're gonna do that, fine. And also change the formats to make it decent and watchable, I guess.
I entirely agree with you. The format's such I don't want to say easy one to fix, but all you got to do is not make it this fucking complicated to the point where we have no clue what's going on. I had no clue that this past week was a championship until they brought out the trophy. I had no clue at all. I knew we were doing end of split awards. I knew that was coming. I had zero fucking clue that it was a trophy, and it's the most bullshit trophy ever. Like, I cannot think of even first stand this year was like Mickey Mouse, but we knew it was Mickey Mouse because it's like clearly a weighted down version, like going into like the smallest international event. For this to be our qualification in the Worlds and it go like this, and I'm just, oh dude, it feels so shitty. So shitty.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I feel you, man. I absolutely feel you, man. And listen, it's pretty much on Riot, of course. And the fact that they don't even admit it. They don't even admit it to their fault. At least when the LEC have a bad format, at least the LEC commissioner at least admit it. Not one, like, I'm sorry, it's our fault, we shouldn't talk to you guys. Like, not even once. Like, come on, man. Where's the accountability on that?
Mark Z, to my knowledge, has not appeared since. Like, he did Travis's goodbye Hotline League. But when was the last time we actually got to talk to Mark about the state of North America?
Never. I mean, come on. And Mark is not even involved. I bet you one now. Mark is like 70% not his fault, but like 30% is his. Like
that's the thing is like the problem is we don't even know the percentage. And like I know a lot of people, because of Mark's like reputation within the community and the good graces that he's bought with people, like there will be a tendency for us to assume less of a percentage of fault for him. He has to carry a little bit more weight than we're thinking. Like the formats at a minimum are the one that I'm thinking like, okay, you had to have had direct contact with that in some way, shape, or form. How did this go through like this?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree on your take, man. Now, what do you think is going to happen, down the road, of course, once this whole LTA thing is over? Because if I were Riot Games, I will go down to that stage in Texas and go down and announce that we're changing back to the LCS next year. Just to, like, do the Coca-Cola spin 1985 kind of thing of, like, rebranded ourselves,
I worry. I don't think they'll do it in Texas because it would spit in the face of the championship that they're trying to hold up. I think they would.
Better? This entire year is a disaster anyways. This whole thing is a disaster. Better than nothing.
I agree. You and I are on the same page. I 100% agree. I just know Riot well enough to know that there's no way that they would do that in any way, shape, or form. They would come out like the Tuesday after it's all said and done and release this big article about, hey, we're going back to the LCS. But they would not do it on the same weekend that they're having finals. I wish they would. I wish they would own up to their mistakes. But like, how do we fix this going forward though? One, if you're going to keep the merger, you absolutely bring back LCS and CBLOL. And I think, for me personally, I've been on this opinion for a bit. You go to as close to the LCK format as you possibly can. Any day that you were going to have put in that side closet, put online. Any day that you're going to be in the normal studio, fine. Like, I think even then, maybe you cut some of those days and keep it online and try and get teams to do road shows or something in that capacity, and just try to bring some excitement to this. Because like the format, I think LCK has as close of a good version as we're going to have. From there, it's on the teams to do a lot more as well.
Yeah, let's be honest. The Fries group in LCK is more exciting than this. Like, come on, man.
The community got so behind the idea of like a separate All-Pro for the Fries group, and I loved it. I love that.
It's absolutely good. It is absolutely good, man. And can I say something about the whole Bwipo situation, if I may? I may, please?
Yep.
I think. Oh my God! I will tell you what, the Flyquest situation, the way Flyquest handled this situation, it makes me feel like I hate Flyquest even more as a team. I do not blame the rest of the players, of course. I like some of the players, but the whole management of this thing is like, dude, kick him out of the LTA championship. Like, this tournament means nothing right now. This tournament means absolutely nothing right now in the grand scheme of like seeding and all kind of stuff. It's like, it means nothing. Like, what do you have to lose? Your reputation is already down the mud already. So, yeah.
I agree with you. I made my point on that clear at the beginning that I don't think he should have been playing in the LTA championship at all. I think the suspension should have been that length at minimum. I saw comments on it on TikTok because the video went pretty big for my channel, like 140,000 views, which is like not an unsubstantial amount. And I've seen a lot of people be like, "Oh, of course, the 100 Thieves guy is going to say that he wants Bwipo banned through the LTA championship." So I understand the predicament that like people were going to assume with me, but I'm just saying that it's clearly not just me trying to hold him accountable for this shit. But I know the next take after this is also going to talk about Bwipo, and we are at time, so I want to make sure that I do move on. But I want to let you get a final word and your shout out as well.
Yeah, okay, David. So, yeah, listen, it's been great. Listen, thank you for having me on, man. And if you want, you can subscribe to my channel if you want. I do League of Legends content. Some of the times, of course, I also have a sports thing, but mostly League of Legends content on that thing. I am from Jamaica, Port Antonio, of course. I've been a fan of you. I've been talking to you up on Twitter and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, thank you for coming.
I need to get back down to Jamaica. I haven't been down there in, I think, like 10 years.
Yeah. If I want, you can go down to Bayview Villas Eco Resort in Anchovy if you want to. The food is incredible. My dad is working there, and my mom.
Jamaican rice and beans kills me every single time. Every time.
Yeah, you do. And the jerk.
Thank you for calling in, man. I really appreciate it.
And it's Hakeem, by the way.
Hakeem? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I'll see you around.
Welcome. Thank you too. Stay safe. Stay safe.
That I will. I will try my best.
Yeah.
All right. We got 1 hour left. We got a few calls coming in. I know Heely just turned off slow mode in the chat or in the crossover podcast call-in channel. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual takes that I'm gonna make sure I give them their 10 minutes or 1, 2. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4? 4 takes, and then the last 20 minutes of this show, I'm just gonna hop in lounge and we'll talk about whatever comes. I'll try to direct traffic from there unless anything else happens. But we're gonna move on to the next caller. Make sure I give them their 10 minutes. And we got more Bwipo conversation on the way. MurderBird, he is muted and deafened in Discord. Hey, there we go. How's it going? Oh, can't hear you right now.
Hello?
Hey, there we go. How we doing, man?
I'm good.
What's your take?
How are you?
No, I'm doing good.
So my take is like, after all the commotion, hey God, I be. My take is, so let me repeat what I said. So my take is like, I remember, I think at the beginning of the LTA, I think it was one of the YouTube shorts where like you wanted to like Bwipo should be like the face of our region, the LTA region, because of his personality, his takes, and how he shows himself. But now with everything going on, I feel like there should be someone else. I wouldn't say like actually do it, but like be that full front
the front facing personality of it all.
Yeah, and I think this I might put this as I put this as a stretch, but like someone like inspired should be that kind of figure. I'm not like necessarily saying like he should be the front facing figure of the region, but someone like inspired in the sense like he is like he really like I know in one pros interview or like in majority of his interviews like he really just wants to focus on winning everything, not only for his team, but also for the region as well. And he shows a lot of passion and dedication to playing in competitive.
Yeah. My question, or not question, but I guess my worry, not worry about Inspire. Let me just hash this.
Yeah.
Is
like I said, it was just more of like off the cuff sort of thing.
No, you're fine. My thing is like the whoever's going to be the face of the league needs to step up on their own. Like, I know a lot of people won't know golf, so I need to explain this example and who Bryson DeChambeau is.
Yes.
He was a guy that was hated by the golf community for a long time because all he did was focus on winning. And he didn't really do interviews. Like, his personality was very brash, abrasive, like just in general. Like, he wasn't a good face of the league because he kind of sheltered himself in and just focused on winning and was kind of a dick of a person on top of that. He realized after a certain period of time that, if you want to change things, if you want to be a positive force in the ecosystem and be a face of the league and beyond that, you have to be personable and you have to engage with the community. And I love Inspired to death. But I don't think there's a single person in the LTA right now, barring Bwipo, like despite like, the problematic views and everything else around it, that engages with the larger part of the community as consistently as he does. Now, does that mean that I want Bwipo to be the face of the league? No, not after, not right now. But like
after that, no. Yeah, of course not.
But like, if somebody is going to be the face of the league, they need to step up and understand what it takes to do that. Like, you have to look at what Doublelift did at as of old and like fill those shoes. Busio is, I love Aries bringing that up. Busio is posting a lot more. He's streaming a good bit. Like, he's engaging with the community in a natural way. Busio needs a little bit more love from major content creators like Dom, like LS and others that like, whether that's, trying to get Busio to understand like, hey, let's collaborate on content in some way, shape or form. Like, let him be more camera front facing. Like, you need somebody to actively want to take that mantle on their own, and they could do it. I don't know if Inspired has that once. Inspired is just a great competitor, but I don't know if he's ever going to be the face of the league from a personality point of view.
Yeah, because there was also one other person that I was thinking of, but this could also be a stretch, but I was thinking like Surdy, because, I mean, he was under Bwipo's wings like a year ago.
Yeah, I need him to stream with a face cam, bro. It's 2025, we can't be streaming without a face cam.
I mean, I've been watching his streams, and he has his cam shown up on.
Oh, he finally got one.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then. Thank God. Yeah, he for a while there he didn't have one, so that was one of my main concerns.
Yeah, and he's also been pumping out YouTube content as well for his channel as well. So there's a perfect example, or something additional to what you've been saying.
Good. Now I just need to get them to do more consistent TikTok content. We'll slowly get there.
Definitely.
It's a joint effort from all of us, like from the players
100%.
The players to put out a bunch of their shit, whether that's content, like whatever it might be. For us, the creators, to cover it. I don't have that loud of a voice in the community, but like just trying to say something and spotlight a player when they're doing something good is a responsibility that I have. Same thing with Dom, LS, Cadril less so for North America's sake, but Cadril in general for like League of Legends as a whole. Like, you need the people with the spotlight to shine the light on those that deserve it, but also like are willing to put in the work.
Yeah. And I feel like Surdy deserves that. I mean, to be quite frank.
He just needs a team next year. I need him to find like a solid. If he goes on Team Liquid, we're set.
I mean, any team for that matter. It doesn't have to be specifically one particular team. Like, if he's a front face of whatever organization he's in, I think it won't make the region like top tier, but it'll make it like, I don't know, 5 or 10% better.
Agreed. And you know what? 5 or 10% stacks every year and slowly starts building.
compound interest.
Yep. You sound like a finance bro.
No, I did some self-studying.
Okay. I was gonna not many people start talking about compound interest of all things. Even if we are talking percentages, not many people are gonna use that term.
Yeah. And I think that's time for me, so I can give out some shout outs.
Yeah, what do you want to shout out, man?
I would like to shout out Pikachu. I am one of her long-standing mods. Shout outs to her. Like, she puts in so much effort in what she does, not only with her content, but also in other spaces. Right now, I believe she's like a manager of some sort for Milk Esports, which also shout outs to them. Their OQ team, I think, unfortunately lost. So there's that. And shameless plug, I also stream as well. MurderBird Express. I also stream on Twitch as well. I mostly play Gwyn mid. So if you're interested in that, come check me out.
That's fun. Not only to Aries' point, not only does Pikachu stream NACL, I believe she also has LCS co-streaming, right? So you can catch this Saturday's 100 Thieves versus Pain game on her channel.
Yep. So go check her out. And also me.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the call.
Yep. No worries. See you, David.
See ya. We love Pikachu in this community. If you guys have not checked out her channel, also MurderBird Express, as they shouted out in the last little bit there. Let's get to the next take. Is 10-11. MurderBird just went. Oh God. Oh boy. Here we go. Righteous. Oh man, I'm reading this just off the rip, and this is gonna be interesting. Let's get it.
All right. So my take is that Riot's obsession with the monopoly of their product is what killed sponsorship opportunities, and so now they are forced to take Saudi/gambling money.
Jesus Christ. Do you think? Okay.
Where do you want to start?
I'll let you. Where do you want to start? What direction do you want to go with this? Because there's a billion different side tangents.
All right. Well, so you know the adage, follow the money.
Yep.
In the case of LCS and the various pro leagues, you just have to follow Riot's pockets, right?
Yep.
Originally, the League of Legends pro scene, there was no partnerships, there was no promotion relegation. It was strictly just third-party tournaments that were hosted for top-of-the-ladder players to, show their stuff, have a good time, win some prizes. It wasn't anything big. But that's really what grew the game, was these third-party tournaments. Some consider like IPL 5 the greatest tournament ever, like a Worlds format.
Yep.
That's when Riot kind of opened their eyes and was like, oh, there's a lot of money to be made here. So they set up these pro leagues. They start siphoning the money from those eyes into their own pockets. They make teams pay them in order to be part of these leagues. And in doing so, it killed the opportunity for outside sponsors to really support the scene, support the league, because as interest started to wane, because of what Riot was doing with the monopolization of their product, they had no interest in funding that anymore. So now, as a last-ditch resort, you see the Saudi money coming through, you see the gambling money coming through, and I failed to mention this, but you saw the FTX money coming through, which we all saw what a disaster that was.
I 100% agree that they have a monopoly on the space, but like that's a much deeper issue at hand, because every single developer that has touched esports, for the most part, acts in a monopolistic way because they are the ones that have the power. Like, they are the judge, the jury, and the executioner. It's a matter of who do you trust anybody to wield all three powers? And as of right now in esports, no, the answer is no. Like, there should not be a single developer that people are like, you know what? I think they've done a great job with their esports so far. Not a single one has. Maybe Valve, because Valve's hands off, but even then, that's a little sus. When I don't know if them monopolizing killed sponsorship opportunities, because sponsorship opportunity, ultimately sponsors are going to go where where people want to watch, like where you're actually getting people that will buy products. If Riot would have monopolized this entire thing and gets a bunch of sponsors, and they actually do a good job of like getting people to buy products from those sponsors, we'd be having an entirely different conversation. But I think it's a monopoly fails whenever the person that's in charge doesn't actually know how to act. But that doesn't inherently make it a flawed method if it would have worked elsewhere, if that makes sense.
I guess so. I guess the historical precedent.
Yeah, the historic part of this obviously goes against Riot, but then as it leads into Saudi money, I mean, we're fucked. Like, simply put, we are fucked at this point. Now that the Saudi money is entangled with everything, like we have no way of getting out of it.
Yeah, but so let me raise to you this theory, right? So LCS starts. You have the promotion relegation. Originally, it was 8 teams. They expanded it to 10 because what's better than 8 teams paying you to play the game? It's 10. Yeah. You have 2 teams at the end of the year fighting this promotion relegation tournament, which gave incentive for League of Legends fans to watch Tier 2 because these were the teams that were going to vie for some fan favorites who were struggling, right? We saw Team Liquid facing down elimination at one point. We saw teams like Dignitas, who is historically a really good organization, facing elimination. And so Tier 2 had something they were playing for. Then franchising comes through because of Riot's, grand idea to make more money for themselves. What's the incentive for teams to have an academy? Riot assures us, it'll be a place where they can develop talent and the talent will be seen, this, that, or the other, which proved to be empty promises. There's no eyes on Tier 2. There's no stakes outside of who's gonna make worlds and get their ass kicked. Yeah. And so there's no more fans because of what Riot did.
I agree Riot bears a lot of the weight of that, but I also don't want to absolve team responsibility in all of this.
No, of course.
Teams got the standard was set too high for them. They took way too much money and had to start throwing shit against the wall to try and make it work, and none of it was ever going to. But teams were so ineffective with the money that they did get in trying to grow fandom and grow this region. And I blame a lot of the problems that we have existing in the space on choices that teams made early on.
Yeah. My only counterpoint to that would be you can make the argument the teams got a free ticket to do nothing because they paid a lump sum to Riot to be within the league, right? Like you had a previous caller talking about Dignitas, right? Like unless they do something horrible and Riot is forced to remove them from the league, they can kick their heels up and basically just do what they want. TSM, CLG, Fnatic, all these teams, they had large growing fan bases because teams didn't have that fallback, right? They didn't have, okay, we paid our money, so we're good. They needed fans to tune into their content. They needed fans to tune, like the TSM website was where you would go to find new builds and things like that. Like there was so much innovation because teams had to do that in order to be popular, in order to see sponsorships come through, because they could say, look, how many eyes we have on us. As soon as the franchising came in, and I lump franchising with Riot's monopolization of the product.
Yeah.
That kind of made it easy for teams to be like, well, we don't really need to do that anymore because our spot's secure.
My thing is that I know this is a very controversial take for a lot of people, but I do enjoy franchise systems like the NFL, like the NBA. If there's a mechanic to get bottom teams up, and obviously a part of that has to come from the bottom teams actually trying, but like the problem with league and like franchising as it exists now is that there's no draft mechanic. There's no ability if you have a bad year to necessarily rebound unless there's like this you can take a chance on a younger talent, and there's a whole argument on like coaching, like Dignitas being a great example of like even if you pick up rookies that are good, but you just soil it, like obviously there's going to be problems. I mean, look at the Chicago Bears in the NFL, but like you don't have this hope or optimism to build any sort of like hype or excitement for those bottom teams as a catch up. Like Golden Guardians, when they were bad in the early days of franchising, it was just like, okay, they're bad. I guess they're just always going to be fucking bad unless they pull a rabbit out of the hat, because it's like, where would you rather go? You'd rather go to, like, if everybody gets to pick and there's no mechanic that allows you to like get the next, blabber at the time and get him on the worst team, but allow him to work himself up on a rookie deal for 2 years until he can either stay and continue to build up that franchise or go to the big teams, like the big market teams like Team Liquid, Cloud9, etc. That doesn't exist. So it's like, it's impossible to get a franchise system to work. So in that, like, with that in mind, in hindsight now, because we were promised a draft in the early days of franchising, I agree with you.
The whole scouting grounds, everything. Yeah.
Like now I'm 100% with you that franchising is just ass.
I think franchising could have worked if, like you said, the product wasn't solely based in Los Angeles, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you bring up the NFL, right? And even when the Bears suck, they got the city of Chicago. Like, there's things that they can do to build up the fandom within their home grounds, their stomping grounds, right? LCS teams, they can't do that. They're stuck in LA. And we've seen, like, I know there's a lot of Flyquest fallout, but we've seen teams like Flyquest and others really find the right kind of algorithm, the right kind of way to build up fandom. And part of it was, like, they went from the Speak of Vicola roster, which, and Prince, where it didn't have a lot of success, but they were trying to build up the players' brands, and then they find the success with the roster that they do have now. But it was, a rookie in Masu, begotten, a forgotten support, and, but it was just, that's one success story for 10 failures, right? Like, it's so hard to build a fandom now in the LCS, especially because the name changes, which they can do because they monopolize their product, right? They could just decide one day, oh, we're just going to be the LTA and we're going to team up with Brazil. Teams, players, they don't get a pass, but I just feel like so many of the product's issues now is Riot's own doing.
Understood. Unfortunately, that is time.
Yep.
I do got to cut it over to the next call, so I want to make sure you get your shout out and your proper send off.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to the tier 3 tournaments that anybody could play in. I mean, it was super fun. When I was first starting to play League of Legends, I was like, hey, I kind of wanted to join something like the LCS, but I suck. There's stuff like Blue Otter, like low budget. I mean, there's so many tier 3 organizations you guys can play in. If there's a way to build up a new player base in League with the WASD controls, say, hey man, like, why don't we make a team and go play in a low budget and get some new players in here? But shout out to them. They don't get paid if anything at all for the work that they do, and it's a lot of work. So shout out to that.
I absolutely agree with that. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for calling in.
Yep. You have a great night.
You too. All right, we got a few more calls. I'm going to just start dragging people in. I'm not going to link the Discord anymore because we are getting later into the night and we got enough takes to close this out. But obviously, if anybody wants to hop in the Discord, you are more than welcome to. Let me drag in the next call. How we doing? Oh, make sure the mic's working. Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. How's it going?
Hey, David. I'm doing fine. Oh, great.
Hey, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about, my take is that, first, I'll start with, about what Bwipo said about women and periods. I'll start with saying, totally ridiculous, totally dumb. I totally agree. It was sexist, right? He shouldn't have said that. Like, just, what kind of person, knowing that, women, have important roles in other industries and in sports, like, how was, when I listened to that, I was like, how does he think, like, professional sports, female sports work? tennis and BA, like, do they just give up, or the tournament just pauses the league when they find out one of their stars has appeared? Like, what the hell is he thinking, right?
Yeah.
So I totally agree. Ridiculous what he said, and it's good that people call him out. But I still think a lot of people are treating him too harshly for that. And I'll add, even you, I think. For example, I disagree that he should be punished by not playing more games. They're still fighting with the Texas, Brazil, LTA, South, North playoff, whatever they call it now, right? They're still fighting for a title, right? First of all, and the other people, he worked hard with the other guys to, they're making history. So taking him out now, I philosophically disagree that that's fair to the other people, right? He's the only one who did that shit, not the whole team, right? So you can't punish the whole team. But there's other ways to punish him still. Maybe, like someone Heely mentioned at the beginning, the financial fine is nothing. Increase the fine, like take out from his salary, right? Or, maybe make him, I don't know, and I'll explain why it shouldn't be that hard, but maybe make a video where, I don't know, invite Ovally, all the other women from the community, and make a video like Team Liquid did, or I think Cloud9 when they gather people around and they just roast someone, or they ask people questions. What was he the hell thinking? Something like that, right? Yeah. So call him that in that way. But don't punish him harder, and I'll explain why. Because first of all, I don't think it was malicious, right? If you really analyze what he said, right, it feels like, based on his limited experience, like just talking to his girlfriend, he made this assumption that he basically over-indexed it on how difficult a period is for a woman, right? Because again, many women experience it in many ways, right? For some, it's a tougher experience, but some of them barely probably feel it. So a little bit of a blood goes out your...
Best to never assume anything on that, especially as a man, period. Like,
yeah, I agree. But he basically over-indexed it. No, I mean, what I'm trying to say, because obviously women are able to work during their periods, and because otherwise we would notice, like, if for 5 days they're not being able to do anything, right? So obviously it's not that big of a deal, because most women function during that time. So they say that they can't do something is bullshit, right? So first of all, he over-indexed it based on his limited knowledge, right? So, and it wasn't like he was trying to shit on women, right? It was basically lack of knowledge, and he was, based on his limited information, I feel like he was trying to defend them in a way, even though in a very dumb way that turns out to be just bluntly wrong, right? And also, he has a history of, if you think about it, he has a history of phrasing things in a very weird way. And I'm not a doctor, so we probably shouldn't make assumptions. But if I had to guess, if he went to an actual doctor,
let me save you before you say anything else on that front. If we're starting the sentence with "I'm not a doctor" and there's a but, trust me, don't finish that sentence. Like, just pause. Do not go on. Drop that point. Go to that. Like, fine with everything. Just don't say that.
Say it has some issues. I don't know what, but based on what I know with talking to other people, like how he phrases stuff, right? He definitely doesn't know how to do it sometimes, right?
Yeah, he's not great with his words at points. That's clear.
Yeah, and even the example with Dokla, right? What we got from it is that when he was talking to Dokla, right? It was like the assumption was, oh, he's shitting on Dokla, right? Because he thinks he's nothing. But when you read again what he says later, it seems like he's a competitor, right? So in his eyes, if you're not number one, we're all shit, right? That's how I took it. But again, because he's so poor with words, sometimes it doesn't turn out that way, right? So that's my take when it comes to, in general, that I totally agree that what he said was terrible, but at the same time, he didn't do an Ocelot. He didn't do an Andrew Tate. He didn't double down, right?
I don't think that just saying because he didn't go to 100 doesn't mean that it's not, like, still well beyond problematic in what he said.
Oh, absolutely.
The thing that I would say is, did you watch Shox's video on this topic? Like, did you see?
Yeah, I saw parts of it. Yeah, I saw like
the thing I would be very clear on this is, while you might not think that what he said was all that bad because the intent behind it wasn't like obviously we know, not saying we know, but like based on our actions, we're not assuming that he's a malicious person in that sense.
Yeah.
But his words still carry weight and still carry consequences. There's going to be thousands of people that listen to what he said and just think, yeah, like it's going to reaffirm views for them. And it is going to cause a lot more problems in this ecosystem that you and I, as men, are never going to see. We are never going to feel the weight of those impacts. And look, on the punishment front, I will give you this. It is ultimately Flyquest's call on the culture they want to set on this. They don't have to punish them at all if they don't see it as problematic beyond just like, hey, it's a guy that said the wrong thing at the wrong time. Fine. For me, though, the reason why I want this punishment to be harsh is because if you are trying to set a culture of inclusivity for women in the space, and you have almost every woman that works in low esports coming out and telling you that this is well more problematic than people are giving it credit for, especially given the comments that people are seeing, that they are watching unfold in front of their eyes on social media, you have to take weight into that. And because of that, I do think it needs to be more severe to really set that culture and that tone. If you underact, if you don't do enough here, you are signaling to people passively that it's ultimately okay, regardless of the intent or anything. Like, you are signaling that it is okay. And I don't like what that does.
I think that thing happened already, because you look at it, everyone called him out, right? He probably felt stupid as hell after what happened that one day, right? The organization, okay, you could argue Flyquest could do a little bit more but again, I'm against it because that will mean that the other guys would suffer because of it. Right?
I don't, but so, you can, okay, I'm glad you brought that back up because I missed that point. I don't give a fuck what their results are on the international stage or the playoffs. Your results are not as important as how we treat other people. It is a competition. You will get another chance next year if you are good enough to play. Setting the tone of culture and inclusivity is way more important than winning a stupid trophy that will be forgotten in years to come.
Yeah.
And that what we are saying in this instance, if we are saying it's not fair to his teammates, it does. His teammates don't matter, unfortunately. All that matters is the weight of the words in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the thing. You could still have the cake here and eat the cake. You could not, interfere with the team's performance and still punish him in the right way, right? There are others, like I said, there are other ways. And
if you want to increase the fine, increase the fine to the point where it actually hurts him.
Yeah.
If that's the route you want to go in public education, fine. Set an example. I don't feel like the fine was long enough, or the suspension was good enough, or the pathway to education was clear enough. None of those three were good enough for me to say that I'm comfortable with how this went down.
I'll just add one more thing. I don't know how much time we have left, but I'll be quick, right? In general, my opinion is we're too quick for... I'm not saying this was a witch hunt. Again, I said very good that they called him out. But in general, I think a lot of people in esports, I know it seems like this in the recent years, there are a lot of witch hunters, right? They're like... I'll give you another example of someone who's easy to hate right now. It's like Torin, right? And I know you watch, for example,
Torin?
Torin, yeah, or Monte Cristo.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying now. Sorry.
Monty's podcast, right? And there was huge outrage when Torin released that video about Reckless. And I think that was a stupid video because I agree he was shitting on Reckless for an hour, and it was just a terrible video. It was so long. I think he was very repetitive, right? But the idea of pulling out that some players are difficult, I don't think it's that bad, right?
I get that point there, but have you checked what Thorin has done within the Call of Duty community in terms of attacking personalities in the space there?
Okay, what kind of attacks are we talking? Let me just finish one more thing, because why I'm mentioning him.
I gotta wrap it up, so I need this to be very quick.
Yeah, because Turn does bad things, but him with Monty and their podcast, when we're talking about women's rights and all that, they're actually they're actually trying to tackle the bigger fish, right? They're the only ones talking about Saudis, the issues that, all the investments are coming in, and they're doing this on a regular basis. This is not just a tweet, it's just one short video, right? So we have to look at both sides. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, he did some stupid shit in the past. I can tell you, as a Polish person, I'm first generation, was born here, but I live very long time in Poland. I don't know if you know this, one of the first controversies, this is when StarCraft 2 was big. One of the first controversies was Torin on a podcast, just like this one. He said something about, because it was about IEM Katowice in Poland, he said basically Katowice is like a shithole, right? And I'll say it again, you can phrase it better, but as a person who lived in those times, I kind of agree, right?
I get, no, I look, I understand certain parts of the community take certain things out of context or a little too far and overreact. There are certain things where they don't. And I will say for Thorin and Monty, yes, there are conversations they have that are vital to the space that need to be had. With Thorin specifically, there are many examples where he is unfairly targeting people. Like, we call a witch hunt on him. I've seen him literally drive his followers to attack somebody to the point where they're getting death threats and beyond in their DMs. And if you are doing that in any way, shape, or form, that's a problem. And he's not calling them off. He's not like trying to sit here and make sure that, like the person's criticized, but is able to learn from it. He knows what's happening when he's doing this, and he's not stopping it. And I have a massive problem with that.
Yeah,
even if they talk about
I
positive
agree
things
with that,
elsewhere.
but-
Like I'm not disagreeing that like them calling out the Saudis in the space is not a good thing. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of negative too. But I do got to get onto other colors, man. I
Yeah, just to
appreciate you calling.
summarize, I just want to say, no, not all things are like, black and white. There's a lot of gray in between. So, and I feel like a lot of people miss that, right? Yeah, so that
Understood.
was it. Thank you.
Any shout outs you want to give, man?
Just like shout outs to us in New York City. Like we both have jobs still. The market is tough. I don't know how we're doing this.
Don't have to tell me that twice. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But thank you, man. I'll catch you around.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good
All right. Next up, we got a fellow TikToker in the group. Hara, how we doing?
Oh my gosh. Hi, David. It's so nice to finally talk to you.
Yeah, we've interacted a bunch, which I can kind of spill this out to the public. I accidentally sent Hara a message yesterday because I was trying to download a Chainsmokers TikTok and accidentally sent it to your DM, so that's my bad.
No, I was vibing with it though. How sick would that be to have a fucking custom like club call out? Like,
Dude, that's me whenever I put my phone in like the basket that we have for like shampoo and detergent to try and like make it a mini speaker and display it as loud. That 100%. But what's your take? What you got?
Okay. Well, there's a lot of negativity going on, and I just have to say, like joining in the esports space has been really helpful because I feel like fostering a community where we talk about what we do enjoy has really like improved the vibes. So I think people should really consider stop being lurkers in the esports atmosphere. We need to start posting, talking positively about what we do like. And of course, I understand there is room for discussing how changes should be made because this is our fandom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sick and tired of having to be negative all the time.
I 100% agree with you. And I got one of the first things I actually talked about on TikTok that got me like a ton of shit back in the day was I was very much against the double if co-stream because it was just absurd amounts of negativity when watching the product. And you could feel the weight that it carried on the narrative. And a lot of people kind of took that and ran with it. And fighting against that's not always easy. Because like part of it is like you're 100% right. You have to talk about the things that you enjoy. You also have to defend the things you enjoy a lot, especially whenever people with louder microphones that have like this kind of bully pulpit to it come out and say some toxic shit, like just being honest with it. And it's not an easy fight, but you just got to keep at it. You got to keep talking about the things you like. The thing I would add on top of that as well is that if you can take any action in terms of like community engagement, like not just like post, like obviously tweet about things, like show public support for it, hosting events, like showing up to events. If you live in an area that does have like watch parties to it, go out and support them. Like do anything you can to help build up the community around you instead of just worrying about all the toxic negative sides of things. And we'd all be better for it.
100%. I feel like that my enjoyment watching the LTA has spiked so much, like just having a couple people in call just to discuss what's going on.
Yep.
It's my favorite thing ever when we talk about the draft flops.
Yep. That's we have a, I don't know if I know I've told the story here, but I'm not sure if you've heard me say it, but I started watching League of Legends at bars back in 2017, 2018. Like just as I moved to New York, it was like 2017 LCS playoffs. It was the first time I watched it because there was a group that was hosting watch parties here. And it warped my perception of watching League drastically. Because like it's one thing to like hop in a Discord call and like talk about things, which is already a level above just watching it yourself. When you can go out and have a beer and like nibble on food, but also like everybody around you, like 10, 20 people in person, yelling, screaming, clapping that something is happening with draft, it's a whole different environment. It is so much fun. It is unmatched in the space.
I would encourage everyone, if they can, to visit any kind of live event, whether that be an official Riot one or like your community. Because coming from, I've been to a few MSIs, and I was at the most recent America Worlds in 2022.
Oh, which stage?
It's an unreal experience. Is it SoFi Stadium in San Francisco? I forget.
Oh,
Chase
Oracle,
Stadium, Chase.
yeah, Chase. Sorry, why am I thinking Oracle? Oracle's, I think, Seattle.
It's right
Yeah.
next to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Oracle Park for the Giants.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, yeah. The Chase Center out in San Francisco. So you got to watch the full 5-game series.
It was literally amazing. I'm obsessed.
It's a core memory that I don't think I'll ever forget. Like the how loud that stadium got when Gumayusi stole, was it Dragon, then Baron, was like it was deafening. Like I've never heard a stadium, and I've been to many sports games. I've been privileged enough to see some pretty fun stuff in my life. I've never seen a crowd louder than that ever.
Definitely. It was blowing up.
Oh. How many did you go out there alone? Did you go out with friends? Like what was your travel for it?
I live out here on the West Coast. I live in the Bay Area.
Oh, so
and,
yeah,
I went with my partner, Dilo. Shout out.
Hey, there we go. Okay, so it was right at home for you. What I would recommend, if you get a chance, if Worlds comes to New York next year, try and get out here. Because I promise you, we offer the best sporting event vibe that you will ever see in your life, as long as you can handle shit talk a little bit.
Definitely.
We're toxic as fuck, but it's what makes us special over here. But toxic in a good way. Like we will sit there and we'll shit talk you to your face, and we'll still buy you a beer afterwards. Like we're not like terrible toxic.
A good old Yankee welcome.
I put it this way: do you know like what the Ryder Cup is for golf at all?
It's over my head.
it's a USA versus Europe golf tournament, and it's going to be here in New York in 2 weeks. And my goal when going is to make the European players cry.
Oh no!
Yeah, no, oh yeah, that's my whole thing. Like I am trying to just absolutely get in their heads so that we have the best advantage we possibly can whenever the USA players step on the course to beat Europe.
Damn, their golf club bag full of tears.
Hopefully. I hope their shirt is drenched and not from sweat. That's the goal. But we have talked a lot. It has surprisingly been 10 minutes of what feels like 2.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Is there no? I've spent way too much time talking over this. A shout out to you want to give out? Any final thoughts you got?
Thank you, Bunny Buster Gang. I love all of you. I appreciate Shynock for hosting this event. And yeah, love League of Legends. Support the LTA.
Who's your team, by chance?
Flyquest.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's a sad time for me right now.
Well, congrats on your title this past Sunday. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't plan on giving you another one come 3 weeks from now.
All right, I'll hold you to it. 10 gifted subs?
I ain't got that kind of money. I'm not in a position to be betting right now. I would otherwise. If I had the I'm the finance bro trying to have a kid within the year. I got to be financially responsible as a future dad. That's the way I word it. But thank you for calling in. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. Have a great evening.
Sounds good. See you around. All right, chat. I think that is pretty much okay. I've got 2 more takes. I'm gonna pull them. Let's see. Kento and Postmaster. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes each, so that then I can just kind of combine everything from there, and like we can just pull everybody in. But I'm gonna make these 2 the last 2. For those of you that don't know, the next caller, he's been a friend of mine for a very long time. You talk about the low budget LCS. We played in what was called the DCCS way back when, the original rec league, where we got to represent Optic Gaming in our team, like the official Optic Gaming Discord. Let's give a warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Kento himself. How you doing, buddy?
Yo, what's up? You're interrupting my Baldur's Gate session, but I had to drop in with a take.
Jesus Christ, you're prioritizing Baldur's Gate over League. What's your
Dude,
problem?
this game's lit, bro. I don't want to hear it, dude. You don't got it anymore. You're not betting subs for your team. I couldn't believe it.
I'm trying to have a kid and not be as fucked up. You know what? I'm not about to make that comment. I was about to make a really bad comment. I'm not gonna say that.
Okay, we'll see how well we can get this, because I've been feeling this way kind of for a while, but recently, after seeing like playoffs this weekend, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of surprised. I know Bwipo's been in a lot of controversy, but at some of the like response for like a Flyquest, I think, to be fair, Americans have kind of like a natural like underdog mentality, kind of screw the number one thing. Yep. But for me personally, I care about how America does at Worlds. Honestly, I kind of don't care about anything else anymore on the like American stage, and I care about us performing at Worlds, because that is the thing that it seems like we can never do. And my take is, and we can dive a little bit more deep into this, is if 100 Thieves would have won this past weekend, it would have been bad for our performance at Worlds. And if they get the first seed at this upcoming tournament, I think it'll also be bad for America's performance at Worlds.
First and foremost, kindly go fuck yourself. Second, explain yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about this. I think there's one concept that people talk a lot about, and I think especially people that come from like the regular sports world, called like peaking at the right time, right? Yep. I think this has been talked about a lot, especially like recently in the past, I don't know, 3-4 years. But in my opinion, this doesn't matter as much, because in esports, what we're doing at Worlds specifically is we are sending people kind of on an island, kind of in their own area for an extended period of time, and we are telling them be your best, right? So I don't value that as much, but I will say I do think there is something to like, oh, like you hit the final tournament and like you're like hitting your strides, right? We've seen this at Worlds. I think of like DK, for example, right?
Yep.
Now, with this being said, my personal opinion, and I think if you really care about America's performance at Worlds, I think teams that have high floors and low ceilings just tend to flare out. I think of last year with TL, I really felt this way. I think of NRG when they won the split. My immediate thought every time was, dang, they peaked at the right time, but they have not shown me that they can grow / like be like have enough like diversity in their play to actually compete.
And
right
you're saying
now,
that against
like
the team that has picked Shaco Vigar.
Yes. Okay, let me clarify. So I think the teams that usually do well are usually 2 things. I think like these are the 2 things that I think usually like can get you wins or get you performance. And one, it's usually have super insane star power, which I think is like something we really can't chase after given like the money situation of League of Legends, right? I think those like have some opportunity. Sometimes they flare out, sometimes they don't. I think the other thing that I think American teams and Western teams should really try and do is try and be different and try and look for advantages and not try and be copycats. It's a major problem I've had with American teams. I think what you said, like, I think picking Shaco once, right? And that's like fair, like pick wise, but I'm talking not only draft, but I'm talking of like how they play. When I watch 100 Thieves play, when I watch old NRG teams play, they play like Asian teams. They play like they want to be Korean teams and they want to be Chinese teams. And unfortunately, we are too American, we are too Western to try and outhand them. And I think Flyquest was a great example last year. I felt this, and I put Flyquest like doing well in my pick'ems because I knew that they would be able to come up with strategies that just weren't, oh, we're gonna try and outhand them. I think TL last year was another great example of this. Of when you look at their wins, they're not like, oh, they like came up with this like unique strategy or this unique sort of thing. That's just like their view on the game, right? Which I think is fine and works, but I think at Worlds, it doesn't usually work. I think another team I think of that's been really popular in the past is G2. When G2 had their like super team, they're like the perfect like mix of like star power and willing to do things that are abnormal. I think when you look at other esports, like this is the case, and I think this should be encouraged more because as like we don't have the like population, right? We don't have the like ecosystem, in my opinion, to just straight up copy other people, and we need to be looking for what our unique advantages are. And I think too many teams rely on their own hands and try and copying other people to like win their region, and then they just go to Worlds and they can't do the same thing.
You wouldn't say that. Okay, so
yeah,
would you agree that Flyquest had a unique style last Worlds?
Yes.
You wouldn't say that 100 Thieves has a unique style this world.
So I think Flyquest not only had a unique style, but they showed that they were willing to adapt and play many different styles. I think one problem we've had, and I think I've seen this like discussion change over time for as long as I've watched League, of like, oh, America just like goes and does nothing, right? Or they'll be like, oh, America goes and does this. And to me right now, 100 Thieves' problem is they do one style, and it's really, really easy, in my opinion, to like plan around that, right? I think we actually saw this in the Flyquest series in game, was it 3 or 4, where they like picked like a 1-2-3, and I remember thinking, well, actually, this is really easy. You can just pick champs because you know the one style they want to play. And I think American teams do this a lot. I think of TL in the same way. If you look at the behind the scenes of like how TL has talked about their team, they like, I feel like when I think of their style, they're like, okay, we like play this style, we like do this thing, we like play like early game, we want to like try and like dive you and outplay you mechanically and do these sort of things. But that is much harder to, in my opinion, to do on the world stage than the like domestic stage. And I think it's a recipe for disaster, and to me is like one reason why America hasn't done well, and why teams like Flyquest and G2 have done well, because they've done stuff like the Pike Flex, right? They've done stuff. To be fair, the meta kind of helped out with this. I didn't think of like the G2 before the Super Team, right? They were very creative in the way they were playing. I think this was in 2019 with like Hjarnan, right?
But you are quite literally describing what 100 Thieves is right now.
I think 100 Thieves play to like singular track. They showed me they can do one thing. When they've tried to do other things in the regular season, they can't even accomplish it.
What one thing did they do well this weekend? Because
here's what they do.
If we're not on the same page, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Here's, in my opinion, what 100 Thieves does. 100 Thieves plays. Also, I think Fearless is another thing that I feel like accentuates this, right? 100 Thieves plays like, okay, we're going to play like melee mids, we're going to like try and dive you, and we're going to play like really aggressive, and we're going to randomly fight. Like these are like the tenets of what 100 Thieves is doing, and they haven't shown that like, oh, like let's say they pick a comp or they want to do, or like the other team wants to do the same thing. Yes, if they're playing Dig or SR or whoever it is, they can outhand you, right? You hear this on the broadcast a lot of like, oh, they're just gonna outhand you, right? They just like go to the Baron pit and they're gonna say, hey, we're gonna fight, and we're just gonna fight, right? But in my opinion, when you play against like players that are better, that is harder to do. That's my problem with their style. Is it's not flexible, in my opinion. I think yes, they can maybe play other styles, but so far their rise has been in like, oh, we're gonna play like Akali, and we're gonna play like Silas, and we're gonna like play Jarvan, and like this is our thing, and this is the thing we're good at, which I think is fair, and I think is obviously working for them. They have had like a crazy run, right? But if we're talking about Worlds, I'm nervous, and I usually get nervous whenever I see teams that do this because we are playing better competition, and you can't just run to the Baron pit and outhands an Asian team.
I think you have not watched enough 100 Thieves games if you think that they are fighting randomly. Is my main point. They are fighting, but slightly before objectives.
Yes.
Slightly if they're behind, yes, you have to
Yes.
throw some shit against the wall. But guess what? That's how
Yeah.
you win coming from behind. There's a reason why other teams struggled coming from behind, but 100 Thieves is able to do it. We've gone well over the time, so I need to wrap
Okay,
this up with
that's
this
fair.
one.
Hey, if you want to continue this anytime, I'm down. I've thought about this a lot.
My thing is, who is
Yep.
the best team fighting team in North America right now?
Personally, I don't care the answer to that question.
You
I don't
should,
think
because that's what propelled Flyquest last year. They had their unique. They had their unique picks, and they team fought better than. Look, go rewatch the Gen G series. Tell me they did not team fight better. They just did.
But they set them up. They set themselves up to be that way.
And
is
100
what I'm
Thieves has
saying,
been
in draft
doing
and in
that.
strategy.
And 100 Thieves has
Yes.
been doing that. I get
But
they have not played
but-
international, so you have this inherent faith on Flyquest that you don't have on 100 Thieves in that moment. But I'm telling you, I'm seeing the signs, as is everybody else, which is why when Dom and LS are looking at this and being like, you know what? This might actually be the real fucking thing, I'm going to tend to believe them.
I think that's fair, and it's hard for me to save the receipts, but I felt this way before they did well internationally. I think I understand what you're saying. Yes, they team fought well, but in my opinion, they also showed the ability to look at the other team, because Asian teams, to be fair, do this too. That's my problem, is they say, this is like the way we play, right? Flyquest was the only team I feel like willing to challenge that and be like, oh, like you want to do this? We're going to like counter you with this. That is the thing I value, and that is the thing I don't think 100 Thieves does.
I think if you are saying to play your style, that there are two teams in this region that are indicative of that, and that is equally Flyquest and 100 Thieves right now. And
I don't
because
think
of
it's a
that, and because of that, I think they both go in on equal footing into this international event.
I think if I could bet you on it, I think Fly will. I
got to worry about making sure we don't fumble at the bag against Kane first. But I do have one more call that I need to get to before this wraps up. So anything you want to shout out, man?
Hey, shout out Dave for what he's done. It's been enjoyable to see his grind. I respect it. Keep doing what you do.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
All right, peace, everyone.
See ya. Last call for the night. I need once Postmate. Hey, sorry this took so long. You can blame Kento. You can send him mean messages that he talked for way too much.
Oh no, you're good.
There we go.
I had the stream open, so it was like, I didn't realize there was a delay.
Nah, you're good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
You got the final call. You got the final call of the night. What do you want to talk about?
Just the whole, not the Bwipo necessarily situation, but the whole misogyny in league. I want to start off with, what was his name, Tarquinia, and whatever he was going to say about not being a doctor, but.
I don't want to call out any other particular callers that can't defend themselves on this situation. If you want to have a conversation with somebody, have that with them. But I don't want to use this like call-in show as like a bully pulpit for other people that can't have that argument, whether it's right or wrong. I just want to make sure going at somebody, they have the ability to defend themselves, specifically people that were nice enough to call into this show, regardless of political view. But I understand what you're saying, but keep it to the point, please.
All right. The point is, there's just a lot of internalized misogyny in the all the players, like whether they realize it or not. And like, I'm very sensitive to this subject because I know I used to be one of those people. I had a lot of shit takes, like the one Bwipo had, and I don't feel good about that. But I know it's taken me a lot of years to grow past that, and a lot of growing my circle past people who think that way. And I think that's what Bwipo needs as and I don't know, and I thought about his punishment for a while. I agree it should be longer. I would be even okay with him getting suspended until the first series of Worlds.
Okay.
And even the fine being up more, because like you said, stand on business if you want to be forward thinking. I guess my only other thing is frick, I had another thought.
You're good.
Anything you gotta add?
Nah, the thing on your take with like holding everybody accountable. Like the Fevabin tweet yesterday was the one that like really signaled, not signal. I mean, I said this in the video that I put out on it even prior to his tweet, but people don't understand how many people have the views that Bwipo had, but don't say that shit in public. And because of that, that's very hard. Like those types of people and views are very hard to fight against. It's almost better when people are outwardly misogynistic because then we can judge them based on it. But when somebody's passively moving behind the scenes in a way that is still doing that, but not outwardly, it's so much harder to fight. So it's important for those of us that do have a voice in the space, even if people see it as moral grandstanding, to call out this shit. Because we are still, like, it is still a bigger problem than people will ever fully give it credit for. You just don't see it if you're not involved in those circles.
100% agree. But like, my thing is, you don't know what you don't know, and like, Whipple may not have known how out of pocket that take might have been, because where's Whipple from? Brazil?
No, he's Belgium.
Belgium. Okay, I don't know what their education system's like, but I didn't know up until a few years ago women don't have prostates. That's like, laugh if you want, but like, that's something I didn't know, and you don't know if you don't know.
I mean, look, the thing that I would tell people, and this is a completely different topic, but like it shows proof of this, is you are a byproduct of multiple things, including the people you surround yourself with in life, but also the place you were born, which is out of your control. When I went to college down south in North Carolina, one of the conversations that got brought up was the Civil War and how long we talked about it in school, because there was like this weird information gap or like understanding gap of the Civil War. And when they asked like, how long did you learn about it? I was like, in Pennsylvania, we spent like, it had to have been at least a month on the Civil War. Like from start to end, like it was an extended period of time that you spent talking about it. And when you ask people down south, they were like, oh, maybe a week at most. And it's like, okay, well, why? Well, maybe because at least down there, whether the education's bad or people don't want you learning about it because, you know, they did lose the war in that state. And there is ties to the Confederacy and heritage in many families down there. So they are ashamed of it and don't want it taught. The same thing can be applied for many other issues where if you are not taught that shit, it is important. It is hard to, not hard to learn, but it's hard to think that you got to get outside your own bubble because you don't know different or any better. But you do have an obligation if we are going to be in a public facing industry like this, if you're going to be on camera and not just dealing, but interacting with people of every background, to try and educate yourself as much as possible. That doesn't mean you're not going to make shit takes and lack understanding, but show that you are always willing to learn and grow from it at all times. You have to be willing to.
I agree, and that's Whipple's biggest like thing. He's always about improving and like doing better. So I think this is his time to like show that he means it. Like I saw his apology tweet, it's shit. But I think he like has to show it now. Like it was very much a copy and paste what Flyquest probably had him put out. But I think like he needs to show that now, and we're not going to see the fruits of whatever behind the scenes learning he's probably doing, if he is doing that, for a few months, if at all. And I've been on like your TikToks arguing back and forth with some person, but like if it happens again, I'll be the first person, loudest person, last person to like say Fly drop him. But
the problem is going to be like, it just, not problem, it's a good thing that this is the case. I genuinely believe that Bwipo's statement was from him, But to all the people that are like, oh, you know, he apologized, we move on. It's like, no, we gotta, like, you gotta give that time. He apologized, yes, but learning and understanding why this was a problem when you don't get it from the jump isn't just going to click in 3 hours from the time that he makes the tweet. And that takes weeks, if not months. And like you said, hopefully like he's able to show that at some point in time. Hopefully this mistake is not, you know, not just mistake. Hopefully the situation is not repeated and we don't have this issue going forward, but we won't know until we know. Like, it's
Exactly.
just that.
I don't know. It's just I haven't had anyone else to talk about this with like all friggin' day, and so it's just been in my head. So I'm glad I can get this out.
No problem. Thank you for coming on. Anything you want to shout out?
Shout out to Foxdrop Lol and oh frick, what's the other jungler in Sweden? I think it is Broxa.
Broxa, yeah.
For teaching me how to jungle better.
Shout out to Broxa, man. Dude's a legend in the space.
For sure.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, folks. It is 11 o'clock. Reading through chat. I think everything's pretty much covered for the most part. Shit take on the South. I mean, I'm just telling you about my experience and talking about it with people down there specifically. You know, maybe that's specific to the Fayetteville Fort Bragg area, which has a ton of problems in and of itself. But that's going to be it for me, folks. Emily is not feeling the best, so I need to make sure that I'm a good husband in this situation and go take care of her. I would love to have some extended conversations, but I need to make sure that she is taken care of and hopefully healthy. I don't know. I haven't talked to her. So thank you to every single person that tuned in, that called in to the show. One thing that I don't think people take for or give enough credit to in the space is that when you go on to these shows and you talk, you know, you put your opinions out there and you're not like me who's talking on camera consistently, you don't know how difficult that can be for people. So anybody taking a single moment of time to come out and talk about the thing that they love, whether, you know, they hate things, like things, whatever it might be, whatever their take is, I will always be appreciative of people that are willing to take the time out of their day to talk about the things that they enjoy, voice their concerns, and just put themselves out there in the public light. So thank you, everybody who called in. Thank you to everybody who watched. I'm going to have this uploaded as a separate YouTube video tomorrow. I'm going to make the VOD on YouTube private and make this its own thing, just so that I want to see how this does as a standalone video. But that's going to be it for me, folks. Thank you so much. I will catch you on the next